You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
That's hot coffee. Can't do that. Bad idea. Hey, folks, welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, Thursday night live call-in show. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Wayne.
And we are the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about
How we game.
Thursday nights is all about how you game because it becomes a live call-in show. In the live call-in show, the format is you take over. But in today's episode, we have special guests coming to us all the way from Red Bean Nation, our Red Beans out of Louisiana, Josh and Coco, designers of Coalition. Josh, Coco, say hi to the folks.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome.
That's
Welcome.
Coco.
Yeah, hi.
Josh has been on the show before. At minimum, he's been on as a caller. I know that he's been on as a guest host before, so second time. He's going to join us for the first hour of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about Coalition, his upcoming board game. Well, I'm going to say upcoming in the sense of being released or being put on to crowdsourcing in the next week. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk more about Coco's part of that, which I'm really excited to hear about. Coco's working on the art design, and we will then open up the phone lines. We're not going to, we'll have a quick conversation with them. We'll open up the phone lines so that you can call in and ask questions of a couple of folks who are working on publishing their own game. We love having folks
In the biz.
that are self-publishing on, because there's so much that they learn in that process that other folks who are inspired by what you're doing can learn from you. So we will open up the phone lines very, very soon. Welcome, everybody. All right, so I like to start when we have a guest, I like to start with, and also, folks, we will be going through, after we have Josh and Coco on, we will go in the top of at the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to do our top 20 updates.
Ooh.
So we have our top 20 boards. It is the first Thursday of the month. We will update you on games played in the month of May and then tell you if it impacted our boards.
Yep.
We will give you quick twigs if we have any. I do want to go to In the News today because I know that we had a topic that was provided to me last week by one of our viewers in the Discord. I had asked the folks in the Discord, hey, if you have any topics out there or articles you want us to shout out. We did get one last week.
Nice.
We didn't get to talk about it last week. We will talk about it this week, and then we will go OGG. That's what we're doing tonight. But I like to start, when we have guests, I like to start with establishing their street cred, their gamer cred. And I do that by asking the question, are you now or have you ever been a gamer? Now, I know that, Coco, this is your first time on the show, so I'd normally be directing this to you, but we'll start with Josh. Josh, you can give a quick street cred, and then, Coco, you can come in.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Gamer.
Gamer. Yes. Gamer as charged.
Okay.
My cred. Okay, let's see. Last night I played Sidereal Confluence. The night before, I played most of a game of Nemesis before Anubis closed. Mostly board gamer. I feel like most people who play board games play a little bit of video games these days. That's myself as well. Definitely a tabletop RPG kind of guy too. That's why I don't play that many legacy games, because if I have a consistent group, it's usually for some flavor of D&D or really not actual D&D. I'm very much an indie RPG kind of guy. I'm too hipster.
Yeah. And how did you get into gaming? Did you start with the mass market stuff when you were a kid, or did it come on later?
Oh man, okay. So my grandmother, both of my grandmothers are very jointly responsible for getting me into gaming.
Okay.
Gifts in my childhood, such as the OG HeroScape Master Set, or
You hit a chord over there.
Valhalla, I think it was.
yes,
Yeah.
or Catan. I don't know. I grew up with both of those games, so
Sure.
really all down.
I'm feeling old.
Yeah.
I'm feeling. I was buying those games at the big box store for my kids.
Yeah.
I'm feeling old, Josh. I feel attacked.
So that's how I got my start.
Okay.
Coco, are you now or have you ever been a gamer?
I am, in fact, a gamer. I have always been a video gamer. I think that's like the first thing that I would classify myself as. Board games, board games came as like a surprise to me because before I got invested in Coalition, I was never actually that big of a board gamer. I was always like super social. Like I am still super socially anxious. But I've gotten better about that. So like board games as like a social activity have gotten better for me, and I've gotten a lot more used to that. I discovered that I like deck builders in particular.
Okay. I like deck builders. So that's a good one.
I like Slay the Spire a lot, and we have the physical. We have the board game Slay the Spire version. I've also logged in an inexcusable amount of hours on Slay the Spire on my Switch.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I've been board gaming for as long as I've known Josh, and I think I've gotten more. Like I think I've gotten warmer on it since then, and I've definitely come to like appreciate it for I don't know, just for being able to bring people together and like having a good time and not actually feeling that I don't know nervous about it anymore. I don't know. That's sort of my experience with gaming.
Warmer on crushing me at Star Realms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one too.
I like it when I crush you at things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like winning.
Just way better at deck builders than I am. I don't know. I just don't have the head for it, even though I love them. It's like,
I just like collecting.
I get greedy.
That's the part about deck
Collecting
builders
stuff,
that I
yeah.
get wrapped
Gathering.
into is I do the whole like I really want to build this deck up, and then I lose the game because I have a very inefficient deck.
Yep.
Right.
But I got a lot of things in it. Like you should see the things in there.
All the cool shit.
They're awesome.
Yeah. No one will ever see the things in there. It's too big a deck.
Yeah, you might see them once.
I'll never see the things in there.
Yeah. Come out once ever.
No.
So
You'll know, and that's the important part. Is
you
that
know it's in there.
I built something awesome. Now you destroyed me, but I built something awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome to the show. You guys sound lovely. It sounds like a lovely game nights must be had over in Louisiana. We got a lot of great friends out of Louisiana. Our buddy Mitch, our buddy BJ,
Yeah.
Duga. Like we met a lot of great folks. I know that we were together at the SOBO Southern Board Game Fest out in Lafayette, which is where you guys are from. Beautiful city. And I've always told the stories every time we talk about SOBO. Some of the nicest people I've ever met. I'm talking all the way down to your people at the Taco Bell drive-thru.
Yep.
Were the nicest
The hotel,
people
the-
I've
yeah.
ever met in any city in this great nation.
Very
So
friendly. Yeah.
Glad
Yeah.
to have you on.
The Sobo crew is great. I was on the Sobo crew this year. I was helping
Nice.
Jeremy out with GoPub this time around.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Now let's talk about speaking of publishing, GoPub. Let's talk about what you're publishing soon. Tell the folks at home what you've got coming up. What are you working on?
So we are working on Coalition, Councils of the Republic. It is a negotiation party game for 4 to 15 players. You are medieval politicians in a city-state, and you have overlapping goals with your opponents. I think the game's biggest selling points are the fact that there is no lying required. It is not a social deduction game. Your goals are very open. There is almost no downtime. The meat of the game is in the simultaneous negotiation phase. And then, oh gosh, what's the last thing I like to say about it?
It'll come to you.
It plays in about an hour, no matter how many people you have, because
Oh,
it's
wow.
Really?
player count by splitting you up into councils, which are their own sub games.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
And I saw that there's a limited number of rounds.
That is no longer the case. It used
Oh,
to
okay.
be
I read a different set of rules.
condition that ends at about that, like average 5 rounds.
But it still keeps it under about an hour.
Yes, yeah. Plus or minus like 10, 15 minutes, but
That's
So
important.
if you have a group of like 12 players, you basically have 3 councils of 4 type thing, and
yeah,
that's why.
you
Okay,
split,
nice.
you split the 3 different little like sub games, but you get to negotiate with people at any council, and then once the time is up, you have to like sit down and like do your little council phase.
Cool. Nice.
So I'm a theme guy, all about theme. Sell me on the theme of the game. Who are we? What are we doing? Where are we set in?
Yeah, okay. So you're going to be a counselor who's been summoned to draft a new constitution for our city-state. There's been an uprising. These peasant rebels have burned down a bunch of our city, and to appease them, we have decided to just throw out the old law and start from scratch.
It's
right?
1775 and we're in Philadelphia. Let's go.
But even older. This is inspired by medieval Italy, the city-states like Venice or Florence, and Coco could talk a lot about that in a minute.
Oh, God.
But
More Medici era then.
yeah, so you'll be a member of one of 4 parties. They are clergy, nobles, merchants, and rebels. They all have something in common with 2 other parties, a shared goal. Those are teams. So if you have like 8 people, you'll have like 2 people per party, and you get to have a teammate. If you have a number that's not divisible by 4, you'll throw in some independent roles, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with 2 Rooms and a Boom, but
A little bit. Yeah.
they're kind of like the Greys from 2 Rooms and a Boom. They have their own thing going on that's not exclusive with anyone else.
Kind of like the Renegade and Bang.
Yeah, a little bit. They're kind of a wild card because they can really like negotiate with or do something for anyone in the game as long as it serves their ends.
Nice.
So,
and so if you're have a teammate, you mentioned splitting up and possibly having a teammate. Is the information between the 2 completely open? Is it a complete team, or do they win together, lose together, or how does that work?
Yeah, ride or die.
Together, your party, your team wins and loses together. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because Rob's not a fan of semi co-op. If he's
No.
gonna have a co-op, it needs to be full co-op.
I like co-op
all the
games.
way.
We either all win or we all lose, but I don't like sharing my win with like one other person.
It's like a little semi co-op. Like it's not, you need your opponent's help to like accomplish your shared goal.
Sure.
But I guess not in the same sense as like I don't know, like Nemesis or Dead of Winter or something like that.
Yeah, you said Robert's favorite game,
my
Nemesis.
favorite game, Nemesis. Played it 3 times and never again.
He keeps saying that, but somehow he keeps getting wrangled
I
in.
keep getting pulled into another game of it. But anyway.
So is it as you're negotiating the different sides? Is it sort of like a diplomacy where you have to write down what you've agreed to and you have to stick to it, or you can sort of betray and change?
So okay. Deals are not binding, except there is a resource to make them binding that is limited. Let's zoom out on gameplay loop here. So your council every round is adding an article to the Constitution, which is a mark on our scoreboard, and it's going to align with one of 4 virtues: order, wealth, freedom, or justice. And each party cares about 2 of those things. So that's your main scoring mechanism. It's like the nobles and the clergy have order in common. So whenever a council puts an order article into the Constitution, that benefits both of them. There's some other ways to score points. Every faction has their own little like unique bonus objective that adds spice to negotiations. They all have something special that they want to accomplish.
Again, those are completely open knowledge as well. Everybody knows.
Everyone knows. Yeah, you know what people's objectives are.
Okay.
So you can make pitches to them. You're like, hey, man, you want to be the chair of our council, and I have a card that like does that. So what are you going to give me in return? And that player might say, hey, I'll give you my sigil. So everyone gets a sigil card at the beginning of the game. They're typed. Like if I'm a merchant, I have a merchant sigil. That's not worth anything to the merchants, but it is worth a few points to the other teams. And they're used to make deals binding. So if Wayne, you were asking, like, are you beholden to what you say? No, unless there's a sigil involved. If I'm like, hey, let's pull for freedom here, I might get some new information and change my mind later and not stick to that. But, if I say, hey, let's pull for freedom here, and you're like, okay, let's trade sigils, or like, I'll give you my sigil. Now we're stuck with that. Like we have to uphold our ends of our respective deal.
Sure.
So yeah.
Cool.
Support for the throne is what I heard there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
TI4.
The promissory notes were always my favorite part of TI.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
So this does sound, because I originally thought of it as a social deduction game. Like I'm thinking Blood on the Clock Tower, right? Werewolf
stuff, yeah.
or Resistance, Avalon.
No,
but
it's
I
more
feel
like
like
a
I was
diplomacy.
completely wrong. This is more negotiation,
Yeah.
politics.
Well, I think it holds a lot of appeal to social deduction fans. Something we see at conventions a lot is that you'll have your social deduction players pulling along their friends who like hate werewolf, and they'll be like, no, trust me with this game. this one's different. You don't have to lie.
Sure.
So it's got the vibes of like big group, lots of talking, like most of the games in the talk, once as you keep adding more people, it gets more chaotic because it's like, oh man, we got like 3 councils. Like I only really know what's going on at mine. Like, so the vibes are there for people that like social deduction, but yeah, it's very, there's fewer hurt feelings, which I think is a big sell.
Yeah. I like that.
And so as you're negotiating and you're getting these two of the 4 things that your faction wants, you basically each successive time you've got that voted into the Constitution, you score victory points, and then at some point you have enough victory points to win the game. Obviously, so it's just straight kind of rush for a certain amount of victory points, or there are other winning conditions.
Yeah, so we have the scoreboard has. I wish I had a good way to show it. I don't think I have the file in a good place where I can easily find it to share my screen. They got little tracks on it, so once you like for each like thing, so it's like here's the order track, and we bubble a thing in, whatever a council does order. So once you reach a certain threshold on like 2 of the 4 tracks, the game just ends, and that's normally on round 5. It can happen sooner though if someone gets like really ahead. Let's talk. There's this mechanic called edicts. It's kind of a tug of war mechanic. It's living with the consequences of how you legislate, right? So, if we go, so every virtue has its opposite. So you've got order and freedom on an axis, and you've got wealth and justice on an axis, right? So you're going to resolve 1 edict for each axis each round, dependent on whatever's ahead on the scoreboard. And that usually benefits your faction's game plan too. So it's like, oh man, we got order ahead, so like the nobles and clergy, the guys that like order are probably like going to get a lot of mileage out of that edict. So there's a lot of like tug of war, like, oh, we got to pump this thing up this round because we really want like this edict to come into play, or we don't want this one,
Okay, so let's talk about because we're deep into the gameplay part of it here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about winning, right? So we're in this social game. We've got our teams. We each have the things that we want to do, like edicts, and so almost like laws that we want to write into this thing that support our faction. So almost like hegemony, right? Like where you got the worker class versus the capitalist class versus the government class. Everybody's got their own goals.
Yeah.
How do I know if I'm winning? Like what tells like, okay, we're the merchants. What are the things that we merchants want to get done?
So, okay. You can usually tell who's ahead based on how they're doing on the scoreboard. Like, are their 2 things pumped up? But usually it's really hard to know exactly who's going to win because the bulk of the points, whatever's on the scoreboard, that's public knowledge. But, the sigil cards are not, right? So if I've collected a bunch of sigils because I've been making good deals over the course of the game, like I might have stacked up a whole bunch of points for my team, and people just don't know that, right? So there is a little element of hidden information to keep it spicy. And also the party objectives, it's pretty easy to evaluate like how someone's doing in the moment, but like the edicts get bigger and swingier later in the game, so you could have some real upsets at at the very end of the game. It's like, oh man, that thing went off and that just like trashed my objective, or like, oh, I got the thing to go off and that like allowed me to fulfill my objective. So usually the final round, you can have some surprises. There's usually a surprise on the final round. It might be between 2 people. Sometimes it's anyone's game though. You really don't know until all the points are on the board. And then you tally them up.
I like it.
Okay. Well, I got to ask, so we're talking about a lot of negotiation, a lot of trying to sway people to do something maybe that benefits you, maybe some give and take. Is there a mechanism in the game that controls the length of how long those negotiations last? I mean, if you've got 2 people who tend to run long and maybe butt heads a lot, it sounds like it could make the game run longer.
It's on a timer.
Okay. Good.
5 minutes. You have 5 minutes to negotiate. Then you sit down at your council, and you can have discussions at your council, like during the council phase. But
sure.
that's kind of limited. The bulk of all your planning is like trying to figure out like what you're gonna do in the council phase, and that's all during the like 5-minute negotiation at the start of the round.
Okay, cool.
Now let's talk a little bit about the co-op aspect, right? So you got the bigger aspect of the teams against each other, but then within that you have teams, right? And my concern is there can be an A-type personality in a team who forces the decisions, forces the answers. How do you protect the more introvert, quieter gamers when they're in that one group with what's supposed to be their co-op to allow them to have decision space?
That's a great question. So there's a couple angles that I can approach this from here. The first is that listening is really important in Coalition. It's a beast of a game. Like during negotiations, people will be up on their feet. They'll be having side conversations, and it's normally pretty frantic because you're on a timer. So you really have like more introverted players who aren't like the alpha gamer types. It actually pays a lot to have a teammate like that who listens and watches like who's talking to who and like who's on what council. So if you have your like observer type who can come relay important information to teammates, like, oh man, I see these guys talking. I think they're going to vote against us this round. Like we need to prepare for that, while you have your like loud type of person be out there. Like,
That's him.
deals to the other parties, right? But observing, especially as the player count scales up, like having an observer on your team, like can help a lot. The other thing is your time and attention is kind of a resource in this game, since you only have 5 minutes to negotiate. So you really don't get these like pandemic type situations where one person's like able to quarterback their whole team because like, no man, like we need to split up. We need to be talking to people, right? Like you cover your council, I'll cover mine. We touch base, but we're not gonna peer over each other's shoulders. We don't have time for that.
Figure out which deals are the ones that you want to make.
And is it so if you have 4 people, if 12-player game, so you have, or whatever, 16, you have 4 players that are playing for the government faction. They're not all on one council. They're separated out amongst the other councils. So it's like one person from each faction per council. So it's like, is that kind of how it is? It's not like all the 4 government people are one council, right? They're separate.
It's usually a good mix. You can have teammates on your councils. In fact, you send someone away and receive one every round. So like they change a little bit.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's not a static. The council will rotate as you move around. Okay, cool.
You're not stuck with the same players, though you can be like depending on your game plan. There's like a bit of a like seniority type mechanic where like you kind of like every council has a chair. Like we have these dry erase placards. I'm gonna get one out. You write your name on them and you form this little list, and that tells you who's on your council. And whoever's at the top of the list is your chair. So they get some like special powers over the course of the game, especially depending on what edicts come into play. But if you move, you go to the bottom of the list at the next council. So like staying somewhere longer puts you closer to being the chair. So like depending on your faction and your own play style, you might hop councils a lot and talk to a lot of different people, or you might like turtle up and stay on the same table for the whole game. It kind of
it's very political.
It's interesting, yeah.
Like I'm digging it's very governmental. Like this is why nothing gets done in Washington because
Gridlock.
Yes. At this point, I am going to open up the phone lines. It is 9:30 Eastern time. I don't want to keep the folks at home waiting. Phone lines are open.
If they have questions, call in now. This is the time. We've got them for about another 30 minutes. So if you have questions about the game, you have questions about game design, you have questions about researching history, which I think we'll get into a little bit here with Coco in just a moment, but how that is tied into a game and the theme and art and all that kind of stuff. Call now. This is the time to, you got a couple people here in the business working on a game, and this is the time to ask questions. So
that was actually going to be, I was going to pivot towards asking that. I was going to say, like, you mentioned that it's kind of, the city state era, excuse me,
Era.
yeah, my New York showing through there. In medieval Italy, is it based on actual functions of the government then, and the city states and the way they worked? How much did you take from that and bring it into the game?
I mean,
Do you want me to talk about mechanisms and then?
So we actually had a class together at Tulane about medieval Italy, and that's I think where he got the idea. But essentially, during this time, these city states were like, I don't know, they were very like unique experiments, very very like specific to Italy. Mostly because it does like the way that power sharing worked was very different, and it felt like power was less centralized. I think for better or for worse in these cities. I still can't get over the towers.
The towers.
The towers.
Yeah, what about the towers?
The towers. Okay, so nobles would build these towers. And every noble, every rich person thought, okay, so the way to display my wealth is to build the biggest tower. And at some point, this problem got so ridiculous because every noble was just building the tallest tower. And of course, you couldn't have, your neighbor be taller than you. So they would just keep building higher and higher and higher. And at some point, and I forget when, but there was like a mandate that said, okay, all the towers are going to be like this high, no more. And they cut down all the towers to that size. I forgot why we got on this tangent. It's just like
we're learning about the history of it, right? And I'd like to establish some of that cred in here on your background. Your education is in.
Yeah, so I got my bachelor's in medieval history, and that is because I like to be an independent thinker, which means that I didn't want to get an English degree.
Okay.
I was really driven toward medieval history, like a little bit into my college career, and I was like, you know what, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I like studying people in this particular time period, so I'm gonna go for that.
I love it. Like that to me sounds awesome.
Thanks. Thank you. It was really, really nice. And I actually, you know what, I don't regret it at all. I think any degree that I think of the things that I could have done with that degree, it was, I mean, it's not like it would have gotten me a job, but it is something that gives me a lot of perspective. Because I don't know, the medieval period is something that people feel like they know, or like it's something that's so popular.
But what I'm finding out is it's so big.
Yeah.
It runs so many years. I've never friend of the show, Richard Borg designed Command and Colors, but he came out with his medieval series, and he got so much flack when he started it because it was so early in the medieval period that people were like, this isn't medieval. What is this? This is ancient history. He's like, no, like medieval history runs from just the War of the Roses wasn't it, y'all. Mm-hmm. Like that wasn't all of medieval history. Mm-hmm. So that really blew my mind because it got me interested in learning. So I now have been listening and Audible about the Crusades. Like I'm a whole book, long one, on the Crusades because I wanted to better understand this. It's a very interesting topic, and I'm glad that there's someone on your side, Josh, to help you with understanding how you can tie in. I love when a game can tie in actual history, like theme, into mechanics. Rob doesn't care.
Yeah.
Theme into mechanics.
Of course. Well, and I think the other big good thing is like each country or each region in the medieval times had such differences that like it's hard to capture it. So I like that you're focusing on sort of like Italy and medieval Italy because totally different than what was going on in France or in Prussia or Germany at the time. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that idea.
It's not, and bring it back around to what you originally asked, Wayne. We're not like trying to be one-to-one. It's inspired by like Florence and Venice, but really. We took that class together and I had this game idea in my head and I was like, okay, I need like 4 factions that maybe have common interests and like oh man, I don't want to do modern politics. Oh my god. Oh, medieval Italy. We have the three estates, which were. Do you want to talk about that? Do you want...
We have the what?
Oh yeah.
Can you say that again?
The three estates.
The three estates. I
That was kind of the inspo for the faction. I don't know. I don't even know how Italian that was.
I
But
forget what the three estates were.
it's the idea of like the three like pillars of society.
Oh yeah.
Like you have like the men of the cloth. You have the nobles, the men who fight, and then
And
you
then
have
you have the peasants.
the peasant. Yeah, who like feed everyone.
Right. Who do all the other things.
And then in like wealthy merchant republics in Italy, you'd have like, there wasn't a clear line between like merchant or noble, but like there was a path to wealth and social mobility that was kind of a new like caste, essentially.
Yes.
You wanna say things about that?
Okay, so it's fun. I heard the word capitalism earlier.
Hegemony.
Funny that I don't know, I forget exactly what the context was, but for the merchants in this game, what we ended up doing was we kind of tried to model history. Because at first it was like we tried to set it in like 1300, and we have set it in 1300. I mean, there's no clear date that we put on it, but like it's this really interesting time period between like maybe 1300 to like 1450, 1500, where the world is starting to shift in some major ways, and that has a lot to do with like outside factors like the Black Death, which I did. I did my thesis on the Black Death and art after the Black Death. Mercantilism was the first like appearance of what is known as capitalism, and it is the idea that you could rise. I mean, like it's not literally this, but it ended up being this. The idea that you could rise in your station purely by selling things, which for a long period, for the majority of the medieval period and before that. I mean, I'm not an ancient historian, but I think it was the same as well. I mean, it was functionally a caste system. If you were born in one class, that was it. Like you probably weren't going to rise above that. You could be like if you were of a lower station, like you could be a man of the cloth, but that wasn't going to like bring you wealth. You were either born into wealth or you weren't. And then this wave of mercantilism, and I forget exactly how it started, but like trade, especially in the Mediterranean, started to crop up and changed all of that. And depending on the person that you were, that was either a really good thing for you or a really bad thing, because the nobles in this game function as like old money, and the merchants are very new money, and that's what they were back then as well. So it's like you have this new burgeoning wave of like wealth suddenly out of nowhere, and they have their own demands and prices and things that they want to inflict upon the government, whereas you have that old landed gentry that's like based off of very 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 old lineages and fealties and
Status quo.
So the nobles were the government, but also like they weren't. There were other things that were sort of folding into there at the time. So I don't know. This is like a really cool period of change that I like.
Do you want to? Can we? I'm sorry. If y'all can get some questions in, if you'd like. I was going to ask if you wanted to like talk about a particular piece of art, kind of related.
Yeah, because not only were you part like the historical part, right? So you're in there having that deeper conversation, but my understanding is you're also working on the illustration.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right, Coco?
Yes. Yeah. I'm the illustrator. I did the box art.
Why do you have him around? Like, what does he do?
Box art. Look at that. I did the box art.
He's just here to be a pretty face. That's all Josh is good for.
Thanks.
So you did the box art?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how did that skill develop? Where did that come from?
How did my skill in art develop? Good
So
question.
we have a friend of the show out of the great state of Oregon.
Uh-huh.
He learned all Chris Scafidi. He
Scafidi,
learned all. He took classes. Like he just started going to like community college
On his own, yeah.
and taking classes on how to draw so that he can illustrate his own games. He's a designer by trade. I think in the IT world or computer world. I don't know.
something
I don't know
like that, yeah.
computers.
Mhm, yeah.
But then he decided he wanted to design games, and then he figured, you know what, I'm gonna learn how to draw. So he taught himself how to draw. Where'd you get into doing art and illustration?
God, I mean, I've been drawing for. I think I've been drawing literally my entire life. I don't think that there has been a moment where I wasn't drawing. And I got into digital art when I was a kid, actually. So I had a lot of experience with it leading up into this.
Also, it helps that your mom's an artist, professionally.
This
too.
helps also.
Sure.
So I won't discount that.
So her mom's an artist. She's an artist. She knows it. What are you here for, Josh?
Sometimes I wonder, man.
So where did you draw the inspiration for the art, the box art?
Personally, I this was like really based off of I don't know, like not necessarily like Renaissance pieces, but like that controlled chaos composition. I really love comics, actually, and a lot of the way that I pose characters and that I try to like, I don't know, the way that I tried to formulate scenes is very comic booky in like technique, where I'm trying to make everything as clear as possible, make the characters as bombastic as possible. You know, I put one foot in reality because Josh typically asks me to do that. But I would go bigger. I would go bigger typically. But I have a love for like, I don't know, just charisma and character, you know, showing something that's unique about this person or that person. So the thing that I really wanted to do for the box art, and the thing that I really drew inspiration from, was actually, this is going to sound corny, but I drew inspiration from Coalition itself, from like seeing people play it and trying to capture that same vibe. Which was controlled chaos, and a lot of people be like talking, you know, like trying to make deals, and also being like, hey, what you made that deal behind my back, I don't understand. And then, oh, that, like, you know, that deal might be good for me, or I'm trying, like, you know, the Inquisitor, I don't know if you can see her in this.
That lady above you.
Ta-da.
Okay.
That's what I liked about the composition of the box art. Was
Right.
it felt like, to me, that's what I would see at a con. If I'm sitting at a table at a game of this type, you would see folks at the table near the board. You'd see folks kind of stepping away to have these conversations, right? These suspicious looks that are. So I feel like you put us in the game,
Yep.
but it's, you know, 1300 Italy. Like we're sitting
Yeah.
at the table as if we are a character in the game.
Yeah, that
And
was
then you got the jester down there. I'm not sure what to call him.
the
with-
Jester.
Yeah, that's him.
The
He's
Jester.
the jester, and he's kind of giving you that shh kind of. If y'all pull up the art, you can find the art, and you can actually find Coalition on Board Game Geek.
Oh yeah.
So for you folks at home, if you, and especially for my folks that listen to the podcast version, so it's just audio, you don't get the visuals that we have. You can go to Board Game Geek, and you can actually see Coalition on there. I know you can hit the fan button, so you can follow along by hitting the heart, making sure you fan it, but you can actually see the box art right there on Board Game Geek. And also on their website, Spoonbill Games is their website, spoonbillgames.com, all one word, spoonbillgames.com. You can get more information and sign up for their newsletter, and also download the rulebook and see more of that art we're talking about. So for you folks listening at home. But again, compliments on the composition of the box art. It really feels like they're playing the game.
Yeah, that was on purpose. Actually, it ended up being that we were boothing at BGG Spring.
Yeah.
And we ordered this big tapestry, and we put it behind, much like you're seeing right now. We put it behind us, and what ended up accidentally happening, and we didn't plan for this, but like the way the booth was set up, we had the table in front of the tapestry, it almost felt like the table was an extension
Ah.
of what's happening in the game, which is
Yeah, like
Cool.
our demoers were sitting there playing the game, like in front of this printed on an 8-foot banner. Like,
yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, we totally
was-
did that on purpose.
it was
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, you could make a whole thing out of it. Role play your faction. You could have a night of people familiar with the game come over dressed up as whatever faction you're part of. That would be cool.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Talk to the uninitiated a little bit here. So I'm what you said digital art. Like, what does that mean?
Digital art is when you're making art using a computer like software, like Photoshop. I use Krita, and I also use a tablet that like has like it's like a second touchscreen tablet, where you have like a second monitor almost. So it feels like you're drawing with a pen and pencil, but you're not. And it's a lot easier to do art like. It's a lot easier to do art for board games when you don't have to worry about like scanning and like actually having a physical paper in front of you. So I prefer digital art. I know that other people prefer to use like a mix of them, so that maybe they'll like draw something on a piece of paper and then scan it and then put it up into a digital program and then edit it from there. But like I prefer to do things all digitally. And that's where most of my skill is, but I also do traditional art.
Okay, so I have some like pens that I have like because I tried to learn how to draw digitally. So there's these I can't even remember the technology. That Waypen. Does that sound?
Wacom.
Wacom. That's
there
the
you
word
go.
I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
that's it.
I
Yeah.
bought one of those tablets to try to learn how to like draw my own tokens and stuff, and it's hard to reference like this black piece of tablet, right? Drawing on it when the screen is vertical in front of you, so like you can't see what you're drawing on.
It was so that's how I started actually, and that's how a lot of people typically start. And it is a bit of a learning curve, and it's really weird, but like I don't know, after a certain point you just get used to it. And then when I tried to switch back into do it, because like the way that I do it is like it's like I'm almost drawing on an iPad now, except it's hooked up to my laptop. So I can see what I'm doing, and it makes it easier for me. But when I switched back to that, I was like, wait, it's not up on the screen anymore. What am I doing? So I don't know. The reverse was hard for me as well.
Interesting.
Well, great work. I love the illustrations. I love the comic book style. You kind of described it as that. It's very bright.
Thank you.
Now, Josh, what's the remind the folks at home? Hey, folks, phone lines are open. 813-618-7099 is the number. If you got questions for Josh and Coco about the game Coalition, it's your time to call in. Ask them anything you want about game design, game production, doing a Kickstarter, right? We're going on Kickstarter with this one.
Yes.
So how does that work? And that's kind of where I'm going to lead the conversation to now is that publishing piece, right? There's that design piece, there's that illustration piece, kind of the gameplay, figuring all that stuff out. And then you have all that together. Now it's time to figure out, well, how do I turn this into a real life product? Where do you start? Someone's got an idea, someone's got some images, some inspiration. Where do you even start with turning that into pulp, into paper?
All right. Two big things that have brought me to this point. One, giving myself deadlines by signing up for playtest events at conventions. If you've got a game out there like that you've been sitting on, that you've played at least a couple times with your friends at home, I would not be afraid to show up to some kind of unpub event with it. That's what kept this project going. Is I'd be like, oh crap, I signed up for that convention in like a month. I need to make sure this is in a presentable
Playable state, yeah.
place. Yeah. The other thing is there is a wealth of information from all those who have gone before, not just on how to do board game Kickstarters, but just game design in general. Off the top of my head, the Crowdfunding Nerds podcast is really good. Board Game Design Lab, really good. This game probably wouldn't exist without BGDL, actually. Let's see. Brandon, the game dev, I think that's is that the guy that did Radlands, or is that a different blog I'm thinking about? That's a good blog. The guy who did Isle of Cats has a really good blog. Jamie Stegmeyer has a really good blog.
Always.
All out there. So how to start? One, like keep playtesting and iterating. Two, just like do your homework. Just like read, put on these podcasts as background noise. You know, that's how you get started. Once you're really serious about it, there's lots of ways to get in touch with people. You know, people want to pay it forward. People in the industry want to share their expertise. And you can't just show up with like some idea and be like, hey guys, I have like the best worker placement game ever. I haven't even made a prototype yet. But once you've showed some commitment to your project, people are more than happy to. I'm really lucky to have a contact through the Unpub tabletop mentorship program. In fact, especially in the last like 2 or 3 months, like I did this last year, but John Cadiz, super nice guy. I love having him in my Discord DMs, and he'd be like, "Hey John, here's my game plan for this. Does this sound crazy, or does this sound normal?" And he'll like tell me one way or another, like keep me on the right track.
So it's time for me to make the game. Like, do I just go to Kinko's? Like, can I call them up to figure out, hey, I need 100 copies of this game? How does that? Where do you go there?
Gotta wish.
So we, okay. We figured out what we wanted in the box. Components list. Start there. Make a prototype. We got our prototypes from Print and Play Games. Super nice. Your prototype run is going to be pretty expensive per copy, though, just because that's the nature of doing like a batch of a dozen games. And then once you're ready to talk about production, just hit up manufacturers, like check who made some of the prettiest games on your shelf. Go find their website and like fill out their quote form.
How do you figure that out? Like, so like if I got a shelf of games here.
I think they're normally credited in the rulebook. If not,
okay.
Do they put their logos on the back of the boxes? I don't know, but you can definitely find it on.
Yeah, you can Panda logo on a lot of the games. You can see
Yeah.
Panda on the back, and
Yeah.
they're the biggest one.
Yeah, and you can always find publishers on Board Game Geek too, in the entries.
There's actually, so I don't know if this is something that would be useful to people, but this is for people that are into like the aesthetics and design. Panda actually put out a free PDF that talks about like CMYK printing, how to make things look good when you're printing physically, because that's the thing that this is my first game. This is our first game. Duh. We'd never printed anything like that before, but something that you don't realize when you're going from like a digital piece to like physical is that the art is going to look different when it's on a box. because like a printer has to mix physical ink as opposed to just like, because I don't know, a computer screen can simulate as many colors as the human eye can possibly imagine, but like if printer has to physically print all of that. So Panda has a PDF somewhere that talks about how to make that work for you, and what like how you can make black look good, which is harder than it looks, weirdly enough. Anyway, yeah, that's just that's something that like I kind of stumbled upon, and I feel like maybe other people don't know about it.
How much work does it take to fix it? Right. So, and I've worked in printing before. In the U.S., there's a local company that did business cards and postcards, and I worked for them for about a year. So I got to watch the printing guys and work with them in the back with the print machines, mixing inks to create colors. We would struggle with customers and getting them because they have an idea in their mind. Their computer at home tells them it looks like this. We're like, bro, that's not the red you're looking for. Like your monitor that you bought from, Dell.com isn't going to cut it. Mm-hmm. How much work is it going to take for you to redo your art to make it work?
So for me, like, thankfully, I don't have to redo any of the art for Coalition. I did not start out with that knowledge, but I ended up actually being quite lucky because Coalition uses very warm colors. As far as I'm not super like adept yet at doing this. But like as far as I'm aware, CMYK printing, like it doesn't do well with like neon unnatural colors, I think. So like any like really bright lime greens or like bright purples, like violent purples, is not gonna, that's just not gonna work. So like there's usually, it depends on what you're doing. For me, there, like in Creta, there's like a way that you can turn on like a proof. So you can sort of toggle view and go back and forth from like, okay, well, here's my design as it looks on my computer in RGB, which is, you know, the standard, like every single color that could ever possibly exist simulated on a screen. That's what you're seeing in RGB. And usually there's a way to toggle between that and CMYK. So there's a way for you to see, and it depends on what kind of program you're using, but like but like you can usually see like, okay, this is
going to be a problem area here.
Right. And you can see how it's going to look on a computer screen, because I mean, if that matters to you, like if you're going to be using that on like a Kickstarter page, then that might matter to you. You may even want to have two versions of the same image, which is not a thing that we've had to do yet. But like,
Well, don't we?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you make like brighten up your files, and those are quick files.
Right. Because printing, that's another thing. That's the thing that we ran into, that we discovered accidentally, is that when you print, it's usually darker than what it looks like on your screen, because your screen is
backlit.
It's light.
Yeah.
You're seeing, yeah, it's light. You're seeing light. And then when you actually print something, physically this is an object, and now like it's just going to look darker no matter what you do, so you have to brighten up your art generally. We discovered that the hard way when we got our first prototype cards.
They're pretty dark. And not even just color. Do you have issues? Is it also like sizing too? Like you see something on a screen in certain resolution, and then when you print it, the details don't come through, or the details look different. Is that also an issue?
So for a lot of the character art, I feel like I put in a lot of detail. I put in so much detail, and some of it doesn't show up because I am not aware of like I am more aware of it than I was before. But when I was first starting out, it's like I had no idea how big they were going to be. So you kind of don't. Sometimes you need to. This is a thing that I've started doing now, because I'm actually like branching out, and I'm doing art for other board games as well.
Cool. Oh, nice.
Yes. I have started actually cutting out like a physical piece of paper, like the size of whatever it is that I'm, supposed to be illustrating. And I will hold it up to my computer screen, and then I will size up or size down the image just to make sure that I think what like it's going to look this, because like, I mean, if something can look really, really good close up, and then you zoom out and you're like, that doesn't make any sense visually.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like the biggest challenge for a person getting into like illustrating board games, or like physically like getting into the aesthetics side at least, is like you have to keep reminding yourself that this is an object that people can hold with their hands, as opposed to just an image on your screen, which sounds like a thing that you would just know, but you don't. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up for what I had to say.
Makes sense. The perspective of the object. I mean, you look at a billboard, right? And if you ever got up close to a billboard, you would see like how big these blobs of colors are. Right? But from a distance, it looks like a high-res image. So it's that perspective of, I don't really need to put in that much detail onto something that's going onto a card, because the printer's not going to be able to print at that resolution and make that detail stand out. And it's really going to cause issues. It's going to make it ugly. It's going to add more darkness to certain areas because you added what you thought was texture, but yes.
So we made the decision very early on to make all the character cards tarot size, because Coco's strength is character design. So we really wanted to make sure we had the space to show off all of her wonderful.
I think it also kind of fits the theme. Like it that size of a card is not a normal size card, but it it's like Seven Wonders, right? A Seven Wonders size card kind of fits that ancient or historical theme.
Yeah,
I like it.
I know we've only got you for about an hour. We're coming up on the hour now. So before we can still talk a little bit, but before we miss it, certainly tell people how they can find Coalition. How can they go if they're interested in learning more about it? How can they go and pre-order or the words escaped my head here?
Pledge.
There you go. Pledge for it. Yeah.
English is not his first language either.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right. So you can learn about Coalition at coalitionthegame.com. You can join our mailing list there, and you can find out everything you want to know going into our Kickstarter. We have our preview page on Kickstarter. How do I join this chat thing here? Oh man, I gotta
Don't forget our Discord. So Josh, make sure you're in our Discord. We have a channel called I forgot the name of the channel.
You're gonna look at me. So
shameless plugs.
There you go.
Shameless
at the same
plugs.
time. Shameless plugs.
And Wayne's throwing it in the chat for me.
Oh, did he?
I can always count on Wayne. Shameless plugs. That's where you can throw in links in there. So folks that are listening to the podcast later, jump on our Discord. The link is in the bio of every episode for you to join. Check out Shameless Plugs, and you can see links that Josh is going to post there. When does the Kickstarter go live?
June 10th, Tuesday.
Coming up soon. Yeah, real soon.
What's the goal set at?
Just 10K. That is what it would take to get a minimum print run of 1,000 copies printed. That is definitely not a break-even point, but that's okay.
Sure. That's the starting level
there, and once we have the copies, we can keep selling them. So
sure, yeah.
Well, part of it is also the dream, right? Like I do this podcast here. We make no money.
No, we just do it for
Zero.
fun. Yeah, this is all.
It costs me money every month for the hosting and the website and the streaming services and all that. But I do it because I love the creation aspect. It's I'm not doing this to become rich or anything. This is because I want to see something put out into the world, that we created. So I can see why, even knowing that you may not break even, this is a passion project.
Yeah.
Seeing it put out into the world, you made a baby and put it in the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, there's a box with our names on it, and you can go buy it. Like, that's awesome.
It's the thing we made.
Pretty cool.
The thing we've created, and now it's there, and you can look at it.
As far as conventions and things where people may be able to come and sit down and actually look at the game and maybe play it, is there anything on the horizon for that?
Oh, absolutely. So I will be at Origins in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
Booth.
Very cool.
55 in the exhibitor hall. We also have we'll have demos there, but we'll also have our big game every evening. I'm sure those will be packed. So if you want 20-player craziness, that's what. That's
go and experience it in its full glory. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
we have a lot of games at Gen Con too. No booth, but I'm going to be running events at Gen Con like 12 hours a day. So
cool.
Nice.
Well, I know we got listeners in both of those areas, so I'm sure we'll have people at those conventions, and hopefully they'll seek you out and play.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Wayne.
I was going to say, I think every gamer has an idea for a game in their head, and so like just congratulations for taking that idea and making it a physical thing, right? Because so few of people do, right? So it's pretty cool. So congratulations on that. I hope the campaign is a super success, and we should you should join the Board Game Rundown Discord as well. And I know they're at Origins. They have a booth there, and you should try to get those guys to get you on.
Those guys are great.
They're actually going to have a review for us up.
Oh, perfect.
Nice.
There we go. Great. Awesome. Love it.
Yep.
Good.
Love those
You're ahead of
guys.
us. I like it.
We've collaborated with them a few times.
Yeah.
I
Three
think
times,
like
I
we're so similar with that crew. You know,
Well, and they do a really good job of bringing on content creators or game designers to push their games and kind of go. So we want to.
And they have a much
That's why I
bigger
brought it.
audience than we do. You know?
Oh yeah, man.
It's like 3 people, and then 2 of them are my mom and Wayne's mom.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, awesome.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you again. Sad that we did not get calls. I know that this last few weeks, calls have been a little bit slow. I think we only topped out at 3 last week. I was hoping to get some more calls in for y'all, but we had a great conversation.
Yeah.
Love to have you guys back once, if and when the project fulfills, right? And once you start down that path, having you back on for those updates of like, okay, here's what we really learned, right?
Here's what really happened. Yeah.
The folks at home love to hear about that.
It's more down.
I've been like triple checking all the numbers the last couple of weeks. Dude, literally the other day, like I found something and I was thank God we didn't launch with this number because this needs to change. Anyway, I'm sure there'll be a lot more of that.
Yep. It'll all be okay. Yeah.
What about the stretch goals?
Worse.
Anyway, thanks for having us.
That's a lot of stress, brother. That's a lot of stress.
It's fun. It's exciting, but I'm like,
Good stress.
I feel like I've been drinking a lot of coffee, except I'm
Yeah.
drinking a normal amount of coffee. Anyway,
A little wired. Yeah.
But I love hearing that you've kept it down to about an hour of gameplay
Yeah.
because
That's important.
that is huge, right? I know Robert is not a huge play on the social aspects
Yeah.
of the games, but if they go more than an hour, my attention span kind of starts to wane.
Sure.
So like I feel like that hour mark makes me even want to be like, okay, that I can definitely do an hour.
yeah,
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
I design is gonna be really low downtime. Like I hate waiting for my turn. Like
Good.
that's-
Good.
yeah.
Awesome.
Mr. Jeeves agrees in the chat. He says gameplay length is key.
It kind of
think
is.
so.
I mean, I was hardcore into playing like Werewolf and stuff when it first started, and that's when people were the games 30, 45 minutes. Then everyone started getting too crazy with the conversations and the back and forth, and the games would go an hour or 2 hours. And you're like, that's just, come on, guys, can we just move this along a little
Rein it
bit?
in.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So keeping it to that hour for those kind of games is where I think you keep people in, and you don't drive any of those games are going to have the cult following, right? The people who love the Blood on the Clock Tower, and then you have the gamers that would play it, but I'm not going to sit there for 2 hours. Like I'll play for an hour. So that's big. So.
Yeah, well, thanks.
James Odak disagrees. He says,
Well, the
It's not
fun
3
thing is
hours. What's the point? Yeah.
You don't have to stick to the 5-minute negotiations. If you want to like talk each other's ears off for like 10 or 15 minutes every round, you
Hey,
can
you
totally
can
just
do
do
that.
that.
House rules. Yeah.
Like,
you can make-
stop it.
Or you can make the negotiations 2 minutes.
Yeah. Everyone, shut up. 2 minutes. Like you can do
Go.
that. Yeah, we're not your parents. Do what you want.
There you go.
Coalition Blitz. All right, folks. This has been Carlos,
And
Rob, and Wayne hanging out with Josh and Coco, designers of Coalition. You can find out more at spoonbillgames.com, coalitionthegame.com. Did I
Yes.
get that right? Coalitionthegame.com, and their Kickstarter launches on 10 June. Did I get that right? 10 June.
Yes.
Check them out.
Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Have a good night.
Good
All
night.
right, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining in. We appreciate you, and hopefully we'll hear back from you as after the
Yeah,
after
stay in
the
touch.
launch.
Give us updates. Yeah, absolutely.
Peace out.
Bye,
Good
y'all.
night.
Peace out, guys.
I'm gonna cut that into its own separate video, so I'll post that up separately. That conversation we did, Josh. That way y'all can link it.
And they're gone.
And they're gone.
Nice.
That happens.
That's how we do it. The show is a live call-in show. Don't forget that, folks. 813-618-7099 is the phone number.
Change gears here a little bit.
Yeah, let's check the chat. In the chat, we had James Odak at the beginning. It's dark and stormy. It was a dark and
Yeah, I think
stormy
he was
night.
waiting for us, and it was on my way over. It was rain and no rain and rain and no
Really?
rain and thunder and lightning. And
I
then,
need that rain.
Yeah, so it's
My grass is dying.
Yeah, me too.
Chris from Texas says, "Howdy, guys."
Howdy, Chris.
We got a David Bala,
yeah,
the Louisiana guy, right?
I would.
Name is
assume.
very familiar.
Yeah.
Says in hello. Then we got a Guillermo, handyman to the stars, is asking us, "Do you guys LARP as hipsters?"
That may have been a negative post, but yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
yeah, maybe.
I've
That was a
never
troll?
LARPed
Yeah, I
in
think
my
that was
life.
a troll.
Actually.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have
never.
watched LARPing.
Yeah.
I have
wanted
a
to
lot.
ju-
Like I've seen it at conventions. I've seen
I
people
bought
LARPing, but I've
Boffer
never actually.
swords.
Oh, really?
Have you ever bought a Boffer sword?
No.
I mean, to actually like
Run
mess
around
with
with
the
my
kids, like
run
run
with
around
my
hitting
kids.
each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
They're so cool. They're like Nerf
Yeah.
swords. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Those are fun. But yeah, no, actually never LARPed.
No, I've
No, I
not
haven't either.
officially LARPed.
Yeah, me either.
Lori Park had a group of LARPers. Lori Park here in Tampa,
Oh.
also known as Tampa Zoo now.
Oh, yeah?
But they had
Lowry Park.
Lori.
You said Lori. I was like,
I-
who's Lori Park? Is that one of your friends or something?
English is not my
It
first
is the
language.
first language,
Lowry
yeah.
Park?
Is it Lowry?
It's now Zoo Tampa. They've changed
Yeah,
the
they
name.
changed
I
the
know.
name.
I still say Lowry Park though. Come on.
It's Lowry
Yeah, me
Park.
too,
I was
yeah.
a kid.
I think isn't it like Lowry Park at Tampa Zoo or something like that? It's still
Tampa
kinda
Zoo at
there.
Lowry Park
Lowry
or
Park, or
something?
something like that.
maybe. Yeah.
But they had
Uh,
LARPing, and when we would take the kids to there's the zoo side, right, and
Yeah.
then there's the river side, which had like pavilions and playgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
We would go there, and the LARPers would be out there in like full force, like
Yeah.
magic missile at
We
each
saw them
other.
out there together before.
Yes,
one
when you
time,
came
yeah.
to one of the parties.
That was it. One of the birthday parties.
Yeah, we did a
that's
birthday
it.
party
Yep,
there.
yep,
When I worked at USF, University of South Florida, for those that don't know, there was a zombie LARP thing where they were like there was a lot of kids. It had to be like 500 or 600, and it was like there was a certain amount of humans, and then like everyone else was a zombie. And it was like this,
Oh, yeah?
I don't know how they did it. It was kind of cool. They had like Nerf weapons, and it was kind of cool. But
Cool.
as I've
Spoonbill
crossed
Games
campus
in the
I'm
chat
seeing that.
here.
Yeah.
Says Coco and I. I'm assuming this is Josh. Coco and I actually did Dago here together in college. We love Boffer swords.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
I'm sure some sort of LARP.
I look it up.
Yeah. I
Louisiana
know
LARPing?
the big LARPs in the area here used to be like Vampire the Masquerade type things. A lot of the. So,
And this is
cool.
where the show's going to slow down a little bit because I have not prepped.
I haven't either.
I have
was
not.
gonna say,
I've
you
got.
mentioned the board, and I was like,
And
oh,
I'm like,
board?
good.
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
thinking, I'm hoping you guys, because I need another
Uh-oh.
soda.
Who's gonna go
But that's
first?
all right.
Yeah.
I guess I
I will
can go.
gladly go
You're
first.
gonna
so-
go first. We got a blue
No,
pen.
I
now,
mean, I
so
can
we're
go
changing
first.
Colors.
Well,
I
it's
can-
a warning. This is
Okay.
a wet erase pen.
Wet erase.
Wet
don't
erase.
touch it after you put it on there.
Right, until it dries.
Okay.
The goal is going to be to reuse these as much as possible,
Okay,
so not
okay.
using Sharpies anymore.
Yeah,
There
sure,
you go.
sure.
I
But
only
you're
mentioned
gonna,
that to you a while back.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you
you
folks
could just
at
use
home,
Not the best thing.
you folks at home are going to get an insight to my brain because we're going to go through the month of May, and I was pleasantly surprised with how many games, like actual games, were played in the month of May.
Yeah.
Let me look at my insights. So for the month of May, I had 27 plays.
Wow.
So it's almost a play a day. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
For me at least.
Sure.
I'm not as heavy a gamer as Rob.
Oh, you had more than me, I'm sure, because I know you played a lot of games at home. I don't tend to play unless I get out, so I'm trying to go through. Here's May.
And-
21 plays for me. Yeah.
So then looking at my board, oh, man, a lot of these are going up there. It's
Yeah, it's tough. I played a lot of good games also. Several first new to me games. So, do we want to do a quick rundown of the games we played, or?
well, I'm going to run through them as I
Oh, you're gonna do them in order.
yep,
Okay.
as I played them
Gotcha.
and then decide where they go. So I know that White Castle got played a lot
Mhm.
in the month of May. So taught it to Patrick, did some solo plays of it. It is currently listed as my number 6, and I think it's going to stay right there. I don't think it's going to be top 5 material, but it definitely belongs. Harvest got played in the month of May. It is going to make the board.
Oh, really? Okay.
So Harvest is going to make the board.
That surprised me. Did you play it on BGA or?
Harvest, no, the physical copy of
Okay.
not Harvest the board game.
Oh.
Harvest the Japanese card game.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have known that. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Harvest the
I've played that
Japanese
one.
card game.
Okay, so there's the other Harvest that I've been playing on BGA, but yeah.
Robert taught me some Kin Fire
That was the next one on my list. I was getting ready to write down Ken Fire Delve. Yeah.
Kin Fire Delve, and actually that would make the board.
I think
Looking at the
definitely making
bottom,
mine. Yeah. It's going to replace. Yeah, definitely games.
definitely making past the bottom. Flip 7 got played. Some Brian Baru. Okay, that's going. That's definitely going.
too. Okay, yeah.
Oh man, this is going to be a good month.
I'm good to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. I should say good to hear that. Glad to hear that.
I'm
yeah.
sad because I just don't think.
might be a trifecta.
Uh-oh.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just don't
Maybe.
think that game is going to get played too often.
That's the problem. Is
Got to make it happen. If you love it, make it happen.
Wine Cellar got topped by Wayne.
That's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
That's going on the board. Got a lot of Imperial Assault in. Of course, that's going on the board.
There you go.
Ooh, Wine Cellar's going on the board. Interesting. I didn't. You know, I didn't. Spoiler, that didn't make my list, but I think I need to.
I think
play
it's
it.
just going to miss mine, but
I think it's just gonna miss mine for now. I want to play it a few more times to see if I can mitigate the that 6-point sparkling. Because if
Okay.
that's an issue, like
Yeah.
maybe I need to remove those from the game and see how it plays or something.
Well, I'll be happy to play that sparkling again and let you test against it. So
yeah.
2 times I've had it, I've done well, but
I think I'm going too far with this.
are you how many? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
5, 6.
I'm running out of room
You're
here,
already up to
Robert.
6.
Tokaido was played.
Remember, 6 puts you here.
Oh, geez, that's
Yeah.
hard. Tokaido was played. I don't think that's making my board. We've got some plays of No Thanks this month. That's definitely needs to go on my board somewhere. Oh, and then
It's almost
Dice
where
Town.
you need to start getting into the heavy versus light games.
Yeah, and I've had that debate on whether to try to make 2 lists. I know some people in our Discord have
Yeah,
actually started
Daryl
making-
does that. He
Daryl?
does like a top 20 list, and then he like these are my top 5 games that are just too light
like
to
party
make my
games
list
and stuff.
Yeah, party
Mhm.
games and light games. Like Wine Cellar definitely be in that top 5 there.
Right.
And like Harvest would probably be there for me
Agreed.
if I played it. I didn't play it this month, but
Uh,
I like that game.
yeah.
Got some Potion Explosion in this month. Robert taught me Underwater Cities.
Man, I got a bunch of games too. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to get some more.
list. Yeah.
Played some Sushi Go and some Endeavor Deep Sea. All right, so those are some of the games that I played. I quickly just jotted down some whiteboard strips to see where would these guys land
May not have enough here.
based on play. So right off the bat, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different games. 8 different
It's gonna
games.
take y'all up to 12 here.
That would
Endeavor's
take me
already
to
on
12.
there. Okay, good. Okay, yeah.
So Endeavor's already there. Oh, geez. So Ito's going to go. Battleline's going to go. Warfighter Nam's going to go. Mandalorian Adventure's going to go.
I want to play that
Finspan's
sometime.
going to
Mandalorian,
go.
I gotta try that.
Ooh, Finspan, come on.
Yeah,
Finspan falling off.
I think everything. Everything on here I'd rather play over Finfin.
Really?
Chronicles of Crime is going to go.
Oh, that's tough.
And now this is where it gets tough. So let's see what makes the board here. Star Wars Imperial Assault.
As an aside, you could probably use vinegar to take off the permanent marker.
I
reuse
used
those
what do you call that? Anti-bac.
Okay.
Antibacterial
yeah.
alcohol.
Or the
It
magic
actually
erase.
did a good job.
The Mr. Clean magic eraser.
Yeah. I'm going to bring these down because right now I'm going to put Imperial Assault above Hero Quest. I know I like it better than Hero Quest. So that puts it at number 7. So Imperial Assault's going number 7. Wine Cellar's going to go to the bottom of the board for now. I wanted to touch my board because I really enjoyed it. I like the range of play that it allows for, number of players. I like the artwork, the way it's designed, meaning the UI, like the user interface.
Sure, yeah.
Right, like the graphic design makes it real simple to figure out.
Got to jump in here with Mr. Jeeves Kyle saying his wife saw a package on his front porch, and when she asked me what it was, I just said I'm curating my collection. That was
There
a
you
joke
go.
from our Discord
In the
server this
Discord,
week
yeah.
about
Ooh, we're gonna get into some tough games here. Potion Explosion, really solid game. I'm gonna put that above Fellowship of the Ring, so I'm sliding some games down in order to make room to put Potion Explosion at number 10. It's gonna touch number 10.
it's a good game, but I don't know.
It's a good game.
It's fun. I'd play
Which one? I missed.
Finspan.
I'd rather play it over Trek into History.
Post Explosion?
Yeah,
Ooh,
I'd-
yeah.
I'd rather play Finspan over it.
I don't know about that. And maybe it's the fish.
You don't like the
Maybe.
fish?
No, like the birds. The birds were beautiful. The fish are ugly. Fish are ugly. Let's see. Endeavor Deep Sea got played, and Rob, as Rob said, it's a good game.
See, I've got a 14 on my list right now.
We're tied at 14, but I think it deserves to go higher up.
Gonna
Like,
bump up? Ooh, after
yeah,
a replay.
it's
Nice.
going to go into top 10 mode. Right now, I'm putting it under White Castle. It's going to hit 7. Endeavor Deep Sea. I've been playing it solo. We'll talk during the twig a little more in there. Dice Town. Dice Town is a solid
Yeah, Dice Town's a
game.
good game. Classic.
And we'll go ahead and drop that into my 17 spot right now. Harvest is the game that Wayne taught me. Picked up a copy. The family is loving it.
Japanese import. Yeah, it's a fun game.
Such
It
a
scales.
fun
But it's
game.
so
Scales
light.
so
Like
well.
I don't want to.
It's super light. How do you rate that against these bigger games?
I want to put it like with Flip 7, so they only take up one spot together. Like I'll
you could do that to your list. Yeah, do it.
just kind of stack them together.
Yeah, same kind of weight games.
It may not make it on,
Yeah,
but No Thanks is. I'm sorry, No Thanks. Holy moly, that is such a good game.
yeah, it is good.
No Thanks. I'm gonna put this bad boy in here under Dice Town. No Thanks is making the board. Kinfire Delve. I got one spot left over here.
Uh-oh.
Kinfire Delve. I wanted it to make the list.
Oh.
I really enjoyed it, but I think Brian Baru really left me desiring more. I think Brian Baru right now, for desire to play, that reason alone, like it left me feeling so good. It's gonna go above SETI, above Lost Cities, above Trekking,
Whoa.
above Fellowship of the Ring,
Wow.
and I'm gonna stop at the 12 spot.
Okay. I'm not.
What a solid trick-taking area control game.
Yeah.
It just hit well.
All right.
The rest of these, Rob, I can get you more.
Or say, hey, make Harvest go away. Is that how we do it? Oh, there you go. Oh man, you spit on it. I was off camera, so they didn't see that. little wet erase.
There
we
you go.
Thanks. I'm gonna write on your spit.
So, all right. So let me give you my top 20 after May's update.
Run
so
it.
here's the top 20 board. My number 1 is Purple Haze. My number 2 is Ezra and Nehemiah. My number 3 is Camel Up. Number 4, Captain Flip, which I think that one needs to go down. I've only played it on BGG.
You haven't played it recently? Well, you
I'm
can
sorry,
play it on
BGA.
BGA.
That
yeah.
counts, right?
Yeah, it
we
counts.
did that.
Yeah, you can move it.
I'm moving that bad boy. It's
Yep.
going down. Captain Flip is gonna go down below. Oh, it's dropping. Wow, it's going.
Wow, it's really
I'd rather-
dropping.
It's going just above Wine Cellar.
Oh, is it gonna knock Wine Cellar off?
No, it's just gonna bring everything up a level.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, I got you. Okay. Yeah, it's because it was already on there.
You could bring in Harvest now. Yeah.
Oh, you could Harvest or
I would play Harvest over Captain Flip.
Oh.
Oh, geez. All right, so
You
it
need
does
your
update
spit-
my.
Need your spit list back.
It's coming off the list.
All right.
It's okay.
You can spit on
I
that
can
one.
I can
There you
wipe.
go.
For you folks at home, I'm wiping.
Spitting and wiping and
Look at
wiping
my
and
blue
spitting.
fingers.
You can't see that. You're too dark for that. Come on.
I'll
Horrible.
fix this later.
Fix it later because it looks awful.
Harvest. Okay, so let me give you the new updated list. We were at number 5, number 4, Flip 7, number 5, White Castle, number 6, Endeavor, Deep Sea, and this one's growing on me more, even with the solo.
Endeavor. Yeah.
Yes. Number
I
7,
need to play it more.
Star Wars Imperial Assault. Number 8, Hero Quest. Number 9, Sky Team. Number 10, Potion Explosion. Number 11, Brian Baru. Number 12, Fellowship of the Ring, the trick-taking game. Number 13, Trekking Through History. Number 14, Lost Cities. Number 15, SETI. Number 16, Guild of Merchant Explorers. At 17, Dice Town.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Number 18, No Thanks. 19, Wine Cellar. And making the board as a new game, number 20, Harvest. Not the board game Harvest that recently came out. This is the 1992 Japanese import.
Japanese import.
Harvest.
Harvest. Yep. It's got another name, but Wayne may know it. I have no
No,
clue.
it's
There's a
No,
Japanese. Is it actually?
Yeah,
the-
it's in Japanese. I guess.
Oh, is that the,
Harv-
that's the
yeah.
translation though? It's
Yeah,
actually
Harvest,
Oh, I thought it
yeah.
had a different name there. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
all right, Rob.
All right, it's me. Okay, I
Oh.
think I'm good here. There was the only one I'm on the fence about it, and
Man, that was a big shakeup for me. I'm just looking at everything that dropped off.
yeah, it's tough.
I
huh?
can't have another month like that.
Can't have another month like that of great, wonderful games that you really enjoy playing. No, give me another month like that. So, mine's gonna be similar. I've got a lot of stuff on here. Oh, did I just accidentally delete one? I don't know. I swiped and it went away. Does that mean it's gone forever?
Yeah, you deleted the play.
Yeah, probably.
Shake your phone.
Oops.
Shake it.
Shake it.
Shake the whole phone. There might be an undo button.
No.
No? Okay.
Oh well, I have no idea what I lost, but I just lost something. So
Whoopsie.
anyway, whoopsie. Anyway, okay. The only one that, if I had another thing, I might write down would be Brian Baruch. That one's kind of on the bubble for me now, so we'll leave it off for now. So my plays. I guess I'll do the same thing you did. We'll go reverse order. So back to the beginning of the month. Let me go back to May the 2nd. Well, this one's making the board. So this was Lisboa, my first ever play of Lisboa. So big, heavy Euro. I start pulling them off there. So Rebirth definitely coming off. I can go ahead and pull a few more while we're at it. Nucleum with the Australia expansion coming off the board. I got Wormspan, definitely going to come off. Definitely not my favorite of the spans. I'm still a Finspan favorite for my fish thing, but Wingspan definitely above Wormspan. Boone Lake is going to come off. Good design. One of my favorite designers. Guy who did Caverna, Uwe Rosenberg, did Boone Lake. It's not a Caverna. It's not some of his top games, but solid game. Draft and Write Records. So now we get into that conundrum of lighter, flip and write type draft and this one's a draft and write records. It's in the name. How do you rank that against these harder games? I'm going to take this off for the moment because I got a handful that are going on. But anyway, Lisboa. Let's start looking at Lisboa. Lisboa is going to definitely be above Minnefer. I got to play Minnefer again. That Minnefin game. Endeavor Deep Sea is going to slide. I need to play Endeavor Deep Sea again because I've only played it, twice, I think now? 2, maybe 3. Anyway, Dune Imperium with Bloodlines sliding down, even though Classic Dune on my Hall of Fame. So I don't feel so bad about that.
Why don't you take off Dune Imperium completely and just say
he has to play it again?
Well,
it's in his Hall of Fame. I wouldn't even. Well, I wouldn't even rank it.
I don't think he should have even been on the board to begin with. I'm with Wayne.
You're right. Maybe
Dune Imperium Bloodlines should have never been there to begin with.
It's gone. Y'all voted it off. It's gone. No, that works for me.
Because I honestly, is there really that much of it? Like if you played
No.
Brass, Lancashire Brass, Birmingham, they're kind of like Dune.
It was probably just because it was early in the year. It kind of helped fill in my list. So I agree. It's gone. It's off there. All right, so Lisboa is going to keep climbing here. Korra, Rise of an Empire, solid game. I'm going to slide it down just a little bit for now. Sky Team, another one of those that's hard to rate on this list.
Because two-player only.
Two-player game.
Such a good game, though, man. Yes.
Clank Legacy sliding down.
Now that you're finished with the campaign?
Finished with it, it can go away.
You did play it again, so you could re-rank it. So.
I did. So for now...
Would it go up or down, looking at your plays?
He could also pull it off.
I'm going to slide it behind Korra. I do like Korra a fair amount, and I've actually played it a couple of times this month.
I got to get that one to the table.
Yeah, you need to get that played. So the kids...
I just reread the rules.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
I just reread the rules.
We got to play it then.
Okay.
We can do it. We can two-player. We can knock it out in 45 minutes. Ooh. Finspan. All right, Finspan is going to be below Lisboa. Lisboa is such a heavy game. Ooh, Obsession is sliding down.
Starting to see a trend here, Robert. The heavier the game, the higher it goes up for you.
That's what it's looking like. Lisboa is gonna be. I'm gonna put it under Federation, and Lisboa definitely has tons of room to climb and to go up. But I like Federation. Federation's in my 7th spot right now. Gonna put Lisboa in the 8 for the moment. So again, kind of doing this on the fly. Kinfire Delve. That is. Well, I'm not doing these in order. Actually, I am. Kinfire Delve was my next play in the month. And Kinfire Delve, I am going to sneak it onto my list here. It missed yours, right? Yeah, actually, I stole it from you.
Yeah, literally stole it.
Stole it, yeah. I'm going to put Kinfire Delve around Endeavor Deep Sea. It's for me, it's better than Endeavor Deep Sea, I think, with the plays that I've had. I'm going to put it in there at 18, below Clank Legacy 2. Underwater Cities. This was on my list last year. It was really high. It's actually not going to go quite as high because I played some more heavy Euro games. So Underwater Cities is going to make my list. It's going to be above Lisboa for now, above Federation, Maracaibo. Yeah, I think it's above Maracaibo.
It's not going to go that high, guys. It's just making my top 5.
Almost. It's Ultimate Railroads now is we're against it. Oh, hold on. Underwater Cities is already on my list. I didn't even write that down. There's another one.
Does it move?
Yeah, Underwater Cities is at 4. That's where I was heading with it. So my conundrum was there was Underwater Cities or Ultimate Railroads. I have played Ultimate Railroads several more times on BGA, so they're actually both fluid. I could potentially move both or either one. I am going to move Underwater Cities. Listen to this. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to put it above Purple Haze.
Oh. Purple Haze slides down one notch.
Maybe a recency bias. I'm going to keep it under Ostia for now.
That's just because of that rarity of Ostia. Ostia is so rare.
Yeah, it's that rare thing. I need to play it again. I don't know when I'll play it again, but it was a good game, good fun play. Galactic
Ostia is
Cruise.
so good.
Yeah, Galactic Cruise, another big heavy one that I played. Again, I'm definitely getting out of order here. Some that I skipped over. Wine Cellar's not quite going to make it. Madeira, Las Vegas, fun dice chucking game. Trying to beat people to win money from little casinos. Fun game. Not going to quite make the list though. Kashgar, first time I'd ever played Kashgar. Fun little column tableau building game, but not going to make this list. Flip 7. Is it on my list? No, it's going to stay off. It's going to stay off. I do love me some Flip 7, but not quite going to get on there. Destinies is one I struggled with. It was high last year. Me and the kids finished the expansion. What was it called? It's a Sea and Sand, and had a great time with it. It probably should be on this list, but I'm going to leave it off for now. Looking ahead. Galactic Cruise. All right, here we are, the Galactic Cruise. Galactic Cruise. I'm actually going to put it above Maracaibo, above Federation, and Lisboa for my first play. It's lighter than Lisboa, but there's a good amount going on, so it's definitely a light heavy. I'd say it's definitely more than a medium game. It's a heavy game, but it's on the lighter side of a heavy game. There's a decent amount going on. But maybe it's the theme that kind of helps me with it. You're launching these things. You're playing a little travel agent, getting people on. It all kind of just made sense to me, the order that you needed to do things and launch these things into space, these ships, these pleasure cruises. So Galactic Cruise is going to go at number 6 for now. Under Ultimate.
That's a very good recommendation.
Off one play. Yeah, it's good. I see why people are buzzing about it and the heavy Euro.
But what about the length
scene
of play?
My play, well, I didn't record it. It's probably was maybe 2.5 hours. So it is a little long, but not.
Did it feel long?
It did not. It felt like, and this was my first play, and so I was trying to wrap my head around stuff, but it felt like stuff was moving pretty quick. So,
good.
And we played 3 players, and so I didn't feel there was a lot of downtime. What you needed to do was obvious enough that you really didn't have to think about it a whole lot. And you can bump people. There's no blocking. It's worker placement, but yeah, it was good. Kinfire Delve. Oh, this is the Kinfire Delve I stole from you, so that's in my list there. Korra. Here's where I played Korra, so that would go on there. Underwater Cities, and then my last play for the month of May was on May 30th, on last Friday. I played Mosaic. I mentioned that I was going to play that the next night. Great game, Mosaic, especially when somebody else sets it up. Jim had it all set up and ready to go for us. Had all the tiles laid out, all the stuff pulled off.
All the hard work was done.
We played with the expansion, and let me tell you, I did not love the expansion.
That's what I'm worried about.
Sam and I both. I like the disasters. I like some of the extra cards that it added, but it adds a fair amount of more military, actually punching people in the face, pushing people off. It adds
navies.
I say naval. That was the word I was looking for. I was going to say water units, but yeah, navies that you can move around. They count as 2 in battle. When you place them on, you can just take a token anywhere, a good anywhere off the board. And so I kind of liked the feel of that, but then it definitely promoted more conflict, conflict, messing with each other. Jim and Daryl, the whole game. Daryl went early. He took the military leader,
the general.
I think he's a general. I was going to say the general. His abilities, so he could recruit 3 when he recruited instead of 2 units, and we had the catapults and everything on the board. So it definitely I've played Mosaic probably 5 or 6 times in person before that, and usually there's a little combat. This one from turn 2, probably turn 3, turn 4, we were in each other's faces. So anyway, so that did knock it down. That experience knocked it down a bit for me with the expansion. So I'm going to say I would rather play base Mosaic than with the expansion. If I had to take all of it or leave all of it, I'd like to pull out. Again, the disasters were kind of cool and some of the other stuff, but I can leave the military part of it. But anyway, a lot of rambling there. I'm going to put Mosaic up here. I'm going to have a couple extra spots since I pulled off. I'm going to put Mosaic. Gosh, it's not going to get up there with my top Euros. It's not going to be above Ultimate Railroads, Galactic Cruise. I love my tracks and pushing stuff, but it is going to be above Maracaibo and above Federation, and for now above Lisboa. So I'm going to put it right now in my 7th spot. Go in there, and I don't know how that happened.
You
but
peeled too many off.
Yeah, I did. So Draft and Write Records is going to come back on.
So we'll slide these back up.
Yep.
All right, so that gives you a 19 and a 20 spot. Draft and Right Records hitting that 19
Draft
spot.
At 19.
Here's the other ones that came off.
Oh, yes. Okay, so let's take a look at those. What would go back on? So between Wormspan, Rebirth, well, I guess officially I should do it with whatever was the highest.
Rebirth was
before.
at the bottom
Rebirth was
with
the bottom.
Wormspan.
Nucleum was next to last.
Yeah, and Boon Lake
so
was
Boon Lake
highest.
was the highest. Boon Lake, make it back on. So that's good. I can definitely live with that. So Boon Lake going to go back on the board. The other one will be Brian Baru. And to be honest, maybe I'll make it an off-camera adjustment to this when we get one more strip. But I think actually Brian Baru would make it down here towards the bottom of my list. So it would make
Over
my
Boon
top
Lake?
20. Yeah, I think so. Pull Boon Lake for now.
And then we'll just,
Well,
I'll get you a clean
Yeah,
one.
we'll fix it and get it done. So top of my list, we'll go from top to bottom. SETI still number one. And I don't know, I'm going to get early here on In the News, but there is an expansion coming, and they showed it at the UK Games Expo. We got to see a little of that on the YouTubes, and I'm excited about it. So SETI number one, Ostia number two, Underwater Cities at 3, Purple Haze at 4, Ultimate Railroads, Galactic Cruise, Mosaic at 7, Maracaibo at 8, Federation, Lisboa hitting my board at 10 to round out my top 10, Obsession at 11, Fenspan, Sky Team, Korra, Rise of an Empire, Clank Legacy 2, Ken Fire Delve hitting the board at 16, Endeavor Deep Sea Sliding, but I need to play it again because I think it'll go up, Minnefer at 18, Draft and Right Records at 19, and 20 is going to be Brian Baru. So there we go. That's my top 20.
Right.
Very cool. Got a couple of things here. We got Spoonbill goes asks, how does Brian Bruce stack up to ARCs?
I don't know.
We haven't played Arcs yet.
None of us
We
have played
haven't
Arcs.
I know
But there's
several
someone in the
people our
chat.
group have it.
Yeah, they can speak up there.
I think
They-
Wayne's with me on that one. Wayne, I know I'm kind of speaking for you on this one, but the hype of ARCs kind of took me away from ARCs.
Yeah,
Like
A little bit.
all that hype that was drawn into it was like, yeah, I don't need to play that
And
one.
I just didn't have ready access to it. There was nobody in the group immediately that I knew of that had it. I now know that Alex has it. I've seen it on his shelf a couple times, and I've asked to play it once or twice, and it's always been like, well, we weren't planning for that. You know, we got to make a thing where we play Arcs, and so on.
And I feel like Brian Baru, you don't need
No,
that.
no,
That
uh-uh.
is just
Yep, you
throw
just
the
pull it out and
board
go.
on the table, bam, you're
Yep,
going.
I agree.
and it's
Yep.
what's interesting is like, and I hate to be, I agree with you. The hype kind of like turned me off, just like with Arc Nova and like Earth in the last few years, like that game that just like skyrockets into the
top 10 on
into
BGA.
the-
and-
yeah, everything. Like everyone just loves it. But like as I listen to more and more podcasts over the last few months, there's been some cracks in the armor of Arcs that people have started to like. I played it a bunch. It's this, it's that, So I'd still play it. It's still interesting to play. But I think Arcs like SETI and Galactic Cruise have replaced Arcs as far as my like want to play. If those are all three very big games,
Yeah.
take 2 to 3 hours.
I think
if
you
I'm going to
enjoy-
choose one of those three, any of those, that's third on my list now between those three. So
Yeah. I think you'd enjoy, definitely SETI, and I think Galactic Cruise. It's a fun one.
yeah,
It's kind of like what James Odak is saying. ARCs has been on my want to play list for a while, right? It's
Yeah.
like SETI was on my want to buy
Yeah.
list, right? ARCs is on my I want to play it.
I want to try.
I want to play
I
it.
want to experience it. It's an experience. It's kind of like TI4 for me. It's something I need to experience, but I may not love it. So
Aaron Clark from Ohio says, I think ARCs is the best of the Cole Worley games. I have contemplated, added it to my collection. Haven't played Brian Baru.
Brian Baru just was so under the radar. I mean, it's the Dice Tower talked it up at one point, but it didn't catch on. But everybody I've played it with enjoys it. They either like it or love it. So
It's that whole, like setting up the trick for the round and like, okay, I don't want to win.
Yep.
I'm leading, but I don't want to win. And then Wayne's face when he won it. Like, like, oh man, I was not planning to win this.
didn't want that one.
I led with a low card so that y'all can beat me. And
Yep.
Yeah, I think Cole Worley is Brute, it's PAX Premier, it's
Yeah.
John Company.
Definitely a style.
Those are all great games, but I don't know if like that's my style.
Yeah, me too. I played Root 3 or 4 times, and well, maybe 2 or 3 times, and just didn't catch on. That's a game you just got to play a lot, and I know people love Root, and it's had tons of expansions. It's got it's up there on all the lists, but it's just one. It's a lifestyle game, I think, and you really got to play it a lot to know it and really do well in it. So yeah.
Yep.
Aaron, while you're there, Spoonbill Games, friend of the show Josh, was on earlier talking about his game Coalition. He'll be out at Origins, so Aaron Clark, if you want to, if you end up meeting up with Spoonbill Games for their game Coalition and play it, give it a
Or
try
call
and then call in and tell us
Tell
about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's maybe a connection we can make between Beans and Dice, Ohio, and then Red Beans and Dice,
Yeah.
Louisiana over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I think they're asking too, have you ever played Kingfire Council, which is in the same universe as Kingfire Delve?
I have not. It's a bigger game.
Yes.
It's like a 2-hour experience, but yeah, definitely a different thing than the little card game that we played. I don't think any of us have played the Council.
But I think that's what I liked about Kinfire Delve, which is
Mhm.
why I wrote it down but didn't have room on my board. I wrote it down like I intended to put it on my board, but I didn't have room. What I liked about it is that it was small box.
Yeah, it's
That it was so easy to
not a
set
huge
up.
experience, but it's. I think for what it is in that box, it's really cool. Yeah.
Nice, very cool.
All right, Wayne, did we give you enough
All right.
time to update your
Yeah,
list?
no, I was already ready to go, you guys, but
been
but
running
although
along.
this did give me I missed a game, so I was able to adjust, so that's good.
Oh, nice.
So,
Okay, cool.
yeah. So
Yeah, this
I've 4 games fell off my list, 4 games came on my list, and 2 moved. So we'll go through that real quick. First game that fell off was Holotype. It's a good kind of worker placement-ish game. It was fun, but it's going to get lost in the shuffle of bigger, better worker placement games. It's a dinosaur game, so it's kind of cool. I like the fact that it wasn't the let's build a park and eat some people thing. It was like you're doing the fossils and the type thing. So
More
it's cool.
science based.
Yeah, more science based. It was cool. Yeah. Federation fell off my list. I like it. It's a really good game. Don't get me wrong. It could easily be back on my list if I played it again. There's something that I just don't get or don't grok on it where I do okay in it, but I'm not killing it ever. So I need to really play it in person again, I think, to really kind of grasp it again. But I do enjoy Federation. It was on my list for a long time, so and it might
It's a good one.
jump back on there. Yeah, it's good.
I've been playing it more on BGA recently. I was in 2 games at one time, and I don't know if it's the recency bias, but
Yeah,
I'm liking
I
it.
think that's part of it. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
haven't played Federation in a little while.
Yep.
Dinogenics falling off the list. It's good. It's similar to Holotype. It's a good game. Dinosaur theme's fun. I don't. It's interesting is the board game Hot Takes just they did a compare
listened to it.
recently. Yeah, between Dinogenics and Dinosaur Island,
Island.
and to me there really isn't that much of a difference between the two. I kind of like them both. They're both good. They're both okay. They both have some flaws. I think part of why it fell off my list was in a recent play on BGA. It was hard to track, and I just wasn't even paying attention to the needing goats and the rampage, and I did something else wrong where I didn't have an undo button, and it just totally blew up the game. So you can have I think that was the board game Hot Takes talking about. You can have a really good game going, and then just one bad die roll on that thing, and random card comes up and rampages, and
I've had
and you have
that.
to
First
spend
time I
3
played it
turns
happened
rebuilding.
to me. So,
Yeah,
I'm
so
surprised it didn't kill the game for me, but I've played it several times since.
Yeah.
And I've not had that happen, probably just out of luck. But
Yeah.
that first game, I
It
got
can kill.
destroyed. Yeah.
So, but it's still a fun game. Yep.
Sure.
And then Rebirth's fallen off the list. Rebirth's fun. It's very much it would replace in my mind Kingdom Builder, but I don't know about the replayability as much.
Okay,
So-
I see that it fell off both of your lists.
Yeah, I was going to say, it fell off mine as well.
Right.
You haven't played yet,
Yep.
right?
No, but it's on my
Want
it's,
to
it's
play?
in my shopping cart, like right now, like on
Oh.
Amazon. Like it's in my shopping cart. Like
It's a good family
It's
weight
a good
game.
family weight game. Yeah, family. Like for me, I would
I like
pick it up-
area control.
Yeah,
and it's
you
got
definitely-
that.
It's definitely
it's
area
got
control.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's
Like,
Dr.
I-
K area control.
Yeah.
Which I like the idea of that. It's a little
Correct.
more abstract.
Absolutely. Just because it fell off my top 20 does not mean it's a great game, right?
Yeah.
And then what I said is I am probably going to be bringing my copy of Kingdom Builder with 4 expansions and promos to sell, and because I would rather play Rebirth than Kingdom Builder. So
Did you play both sides of Rebirth?
No, we only played the one side.
The family side, not the Ireland
We
side?
played the Scotland side, yeah, both times.
Okay, because I think the Ireland side supposedly has deeper rules.
Probably, yeah. So, and it's infinitely expandable. You could bring in other maps, just so
Oh, yeah.
super easy. So
But did you
give
feel limited about the placement? So, like, because you
No,
draw
I
a chit
don't-
out of the bag and you got to place that chit.
No?
Sometimes there was a.
Yeah.
I played it twice. There were definitely points where I was hoping I need that one. I want to
Yeah.
grab that spot before somebody, and I pulled 2 or 3 or 4 times and didn't get it, and somebody else took it. But
Yeah,
I mean,
so I
there's
might, you could always do the Carcassonne thing where you start with one in your hand and you pull one, so you have 2 to choose from. And I think that
yeah, you
solves
can house
it.
rule it. Yeah,
Takes a little bit of that randomness out of it. I
Sure.
think that may be the one knock is that hey, you need to pull a chip and you don't pull the one that you need for 5 rounds and you're screwed.
I keep seeing it come up over and over
it's
again
good,
in
though.
content that I watch,
Yeah,
and it's
people
just,
like it.
there's something about it. I don't know if it's a sprawling green map.
It's a solid game, and if I played it again, it might well jump back into my top 20. It just kind of fell out because of a couple other
Yeah.
games. So
it's a fringe. Yeah, just barely bumped off mine. So yeah.
all right, and then I think my number 20, Buy and Brew.
Oh, there we
There
go.
you go. Yeah,
All right,
it's a good
sweet.
game.
I like
think
that
misspelled
spot.
Brew
I
there,
already
right?
own that game.
But yeah,
You're
it's a good one.
You're not helping me buy new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's a good one though. I think I want to play it again. I don't think it's the kind of game that's going to hit my top 10, but it could stay in that 18 to 20ish range. It's a solid game. The trick taking is very light, but it's fun, and the the winning and losing thing could like I really want to lose this one. I didn't want to win it, right? And then towards the end of the game we played, I had a couple of really big scoring opportunities, and then Rob with his military kind of came in and crushed it. So
He was stealing those axes.
he was
like,
big time.
well,
and
that's-
he was
the only one doing
sneaking
it,
them.
so,
Like
yeah.
you got to the end of the round, and then you realized your 5 axes wasn't going to be enough.
I was sitting
Yep,
next
you
to
gotta
the
pay
pile,
attention to
I
that.
could've
That's
just-
what it was. He was
just
sitting next to the
my
pile.
Yeah, exactly. All right, then my number 19, Sofer Dynasty. It's solid old school Euro game. It's kind of hard to find now, so it's probably why it's probably going to fall off my list because it won't get replayed very often. Although I do know someone with a copy, so I can probably borrow it. But yeah, Sofer Dynasty's up there. Captain Flip is hanging in there at 18.
Okay.
Fun game, probably will fall off in the near future. As more games get played. Flip 7, it's gonna it's hard to put it high, but it is such a great game. I've probably played more Flip 7 than any other game this year, and probably will continue to be that way.
For that reason, if it doesn't make your top 5, like I wouldn't understand. I wouldn't get it.
Yeah,
it's a really fun game. I love playing it, but like if I had an hour and you gave me all these games,
yeah.
Flip 7's not getting played. Flip 7's getting played as a filler.
If you can play Flip 7 10 times or play Finspan,
Flip 7.
it's Finspan for me.
It's Finspan. I'd rather play Finspan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, number 16, Crusaders hit the list. Like this
Very
game.
nice.
I
Okay.
don't like the expansions. I just
No.
like the base game.
I do too. I
And
agree.
and it was funny is I think there's like 3 or 4 games we've played this year where it's like I kind of just like the base game. Like we have Dune, Crusaders. You played.
Oh, yeah, it was one on my list. What was it? Mosaic.
Mosaic.
Yep.
And there was another one too where we played with the expansion. We're like, I don't, know so much about the expansion. So it's like, there's definitely, I'm finding more and more. It's like base game's fine, like for a lot of games now.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember the other one, but we've talked a few things about various expansions this year. I think that where it's like, well, the expansion was good, but it didn't really do much for it. The game.
Maybe Underwater Cities too. Maybe you haven't played the expansion. I just taught the basic game last week, but
I'll
that
think of it.
expansion
But yeah.
board and that race, that's something I could do without. So yep.
Yeah. So the Crusaders on my list, and then number 15, Underwater Cities hit the list. It's a good game.
Did we lose Wayne?
I'll say I lost audio.
You lost audio?
Playing
Oh,
with
well.
my headphones. I was trying to figure out if it was just me. I don't know
Is
if you
it-
can hear us, Wayne, but
Folks
Yeah,
at
I
home, let
can.
me know. Can you hear?
all of a sudden we lost you here in the studio at least.
Let me see.
Make sure I don't
Can you hear
push
me
the
now?
buttons.
Test. Testing. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Hold on, maybe. Give us just
Hello?
a second, Wayne. Trying to
Nope,
get you
that's
back.
me.
For you folks at home, sorry about that. Let me fix this. How about now? Wayne, give me audio.
Hello, testing. Can you hear
Got
me?
you
We are there.
Ah, there we go.
Woohoo.
Interesting.
Sorry about
I don't
that.
know. What happened there?
I don't
I don't
know.
Yeah. Go back to share. All right. Hey, look at that. There we go. Technical difficulties. Underwater Cities hitting the list.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I think this one could go higher. So 3 of my 4 editions here in the top thing. It was hard because actually I had Crusaders, Underwater Cities, and then Terraforming Mars. I probably would move Underwater Cities and Crusaders above Terraforming Mars. And they probably will happen because I suspect I'll play both of them again this year. and probably won't play Terraforming Mars anytime soon. I probably will do a Robin off air, switch Underwater Cities and Terraforming Mars. I like Underwater Cities because you get the Terraforming Mars feeling, but it has the turns. It's a definitive end, and I know you guys. That's a difference between me and you.
We like our length.
I like to actually terraform Mars and not just build a pile of cards. And so I like Underwater Cities because there's a slow tick to the end of the game, and it goes downhill, which I like. So
I want to play Underwater Cities again with you guys. So we need to make that happen at some point this year.
I don't know what it was. I didn't do well. Right, of course, that always impacts your taste of the game.
Perception, yes, and I did, but I did win. So right, so.
I didn't I don't feel like I grokked it. Like I didn't understand exactly. I was doing things, but not understanding.
Yeah, that's why we got to play
what
again.
things were doing.
There's enough to it. It's not heavy, but there's enough to it that you do need to play once or twice.
I was really surprised. It's like how far off I was. Like man, I was completely far off.
Yep. So then we got Terraforming Mars. No, you don't really need to explain that very much further.
Yeah. Great
Let's
game,
Go to Japan is hanging in there. What I've found is I was playing it a lot. And what I need to do is not play it as much. This is a game that if you play it too much too quickly, it can definitely get very samey.
Sure.
And that's why I think that maybe this is a type of game that if there's an expansion with new cards or a different, like let's go to Germany or let's go here, and you can explore the different countries. It's kind of fun. So Let's Go to Japan is a very good game, but it's one that I would recommend. Don't overplay it. Once in a while, a couple times a year type of game, and it'll keep it fresh kind of thing. And it's kind of the little expansion cards help spice it up a little bit. So it's kind of cool. They have like the little mission cards or bonuses that you can get. So I like that.
I think maybe that's what happened to me. I played it like 3 times at Dice Tower last year,
right?
And I kind of felt burned out on it already after 3 plays. So yeah, spread those plays out. Maybe that's a better idea. Yeah.
Don't play it too much too quick. Then Distilled gets moved up my list. I'm enjoying playing it more and more and more, finding some different strategies to play it. Okay. I'm trying to hunt down the cask strength expansion. I know it's out of print right now. It's going to be back in print soon, so I'll be picking that up. I just like it because I love the science of distilling and the way it works. And I think the more you play it, the more you can figure out like other ways of winning and how you combo the bottles with the regions. And so there's some bigger play area there that I've been enjoying. So I moved it up my list. And then the other one that moved up and is going to continue to move up is Clans of Caledonia.
Wow.
Love this game. I think I'm probably playing it a little bit more frequently because the Kickstarter has been, they're starting to produce. The Kickstarter got delayed a little bit. Obviously, with the tariff situation, delayed a bit more, but now they're getting ready to produce the Industria expansion for Clans of Caledonia. So I'm looking forward to it. So, and this is like similar to Still, where it's like, you could go down the route of making whiskey and how that works and fulfilling contracts. It's a really solid game. I don't think either of you guys have played this before. And I think it's
Clans,
a game
I've played it.
You've played it? Okay.
Yeah. On BGA, I've played it probably 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
You pegged me. I have not played that one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah. I think you guys would enjoy it. So it's tight, very, very tight. So it's another one where it's like brass and a lot of things where it's like, I'm like $2 short. And I was just finished a game of it on BGA with Nick, and I forget the other person we're playing with. And I had it all mapped out. And then I didn't realize that there's a market that gets manipulated, and it got manipulated the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
On me, I'm like, now I don't have the money to do what I needed to do. So it's kind of fun. I like that tightness of it. So Clans up there. Then we got classic Stone Age worker placement game. Just love that game. It's always been on my list. It's probably gonna always hover in that room. It's just a standard, really good worker placement, not worker placement, but resource management Euro
it's worker
game.
placement
Yeah,
there, but
the dice.
I think I almost always have a continuous game of Stone Age going on BGA.
So it's
like
solid.
Never
games.
played it.
Really?
Yeah.
Never
Really?
played? Wow.
Really?
Okay.
That's good. That's another one that I think
you
you
need
would
to
like.
play that for sure. Yeah.
Yep. I own a copy. Viticulture. Can't speak too much about viticulture. It can't speak any more about viticulture than we already had a million times.
Yeah, it's great.
The Finspan, Wingspan, I'm going to keep that combo there because they're both just phenomenal.
It's fair
Spaniverse.
to me. I wouldn't. You haven't played.
I haven't played Wormspan yet.
Wormspan,
so I need to do that. So that's on there. Let's see, Fromage still up there.
Oh,
really
nice,
enjoy that game. The more I play it,
I can't wait for the expansion to come out.
Yeah, I didn't kickstart the expansion. It was like $100, $120 for both games. I'm like, I don't know.
Boards, yeah.
It's another one that I'm like, it's like I like it enough, but if I buy it, will I play it enough physically where I could just play it on BGA? So that one's gonna, I'll pick it up eventually if I decide. I think.
Have you played
that-
Fromage at all yet, Carlos?
No cheese
that's
making
ano-
for me.
It's another good one. Yeah.
Maracaibo. I love
There we
Maracaibo.
go.
That's gonna stay up there on my list up high.
8 on my list, 6 on yours. Good. I agree. I
Yep.
approve.
You agree?
Yep.
Yeah. Creature
Yep.
Comforts has fallen a little bit. It's still, I
Oh,
I do love it's a family game. This is the game that I play with my wife
Yep.
and kid.
Yep.
Right. We love Creature Comforts. It's a good entry level worker placement Euro-y type game with some, the good, cool artwork and stuff, and kid table board games. My Twig, Dice Veggies is another game of theirs that I that I've been playing a bunch of. So, Lords of Waterdeep fell out of my top 3.
Wow.
But it's still great. Actually, Kyle, Mr. Jeeves,
Oh, yeah, I
I
was
think
gonna say
just
that.
played it for the first time
Ever. Yeah.
last night, and he was like, "This game's great." I'm like, "Yes,
Really?
it is."
Both expansions. He's
Yeah,
like,
with the
this is
expansions.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's
I
great
love
on
it.
its own. Throw in the
Yeah.
corruption expansion. It's awesome.
So it's
Yeah.
awesome, and I love it. And like I had pointed out, this is a game that I would take on my 5 games for Doomsday, where it's like, what 5 games would you take with you? Because it's a board game that I would love to play, and then I can use the cards to create a D&D game, right?
Yep.
So I could
It crosses streams.
cross the stream. So I love it.
Never
You know,
cross the streams.
Yeah.
Never.
My number 3, I think, is my last new one, Madeira.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Madeira way up there for you.
Yeah, it was good. I loved
Didn't
it.
make
And
my
it-
20,
I'm,
but
I'm
yeah.
mad. I'm surprised it didn't make your 20.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the
What is
timing.
Madeira?
It's a game. It's a worker placement.
I wanna say-
Trading in the Mediterranean.
I was going to say trading in the Mediterranean,
Okay.
but is it really? I guess it is because
It's
you
off-
do have
yeah,
a little
yeah.
ship track
A
thing.
little
but-
ship track thing.
Yeah.
But it's just it's another one of these old guy on a box Euros
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my,
It's-
my wheelhouse, right?
Old classic feeling Euro.
Yeah.
Yeah, top
Um,
3, one
yeah.
play. Come
Yeah.
on now.
Yeah, it was up there.
I definitely would play it again. I liked
I've
it.
been
but it,
I've
yeah.
been looking to get a copy, and it's out of print, and like the
Oh.
Kickstarter didn't they had a Kickstarter for it that I guess never delivered or something.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a good game. I was really impressed with it. I like the tightness of it, the different tracks. There were clearly 3 or 4 different avenues to win.
Yeah.
And I didn't even. I think I came in second there. So on that one,
I know
um,
Janella and Chris love it. They've introduced tons of people to it. So anytime you want to play, I'm sure they'll play it.
Yeah, I'm sure I play it. Yeah, so it's a good one. It hit the list up high. Yeah, again, it may fall because I don't really readily have access to it.
Yeah.
But it was really it kind of hit the sweet spot of that standard old school Euro that is my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Ostia remains my number 2,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Obsession remains my number 1. So there's my
Yeah, Ostia's number 2 on my list. Obsession. I need to play again. I haven't played it on BGA in a while. I really want to play it in person. I've only played it in person twice.
Sure.
But I want to play it in person again.
I just love the theme, and that's part of
Yeah.
what it is. It
Yeah.
the theme hits. I think Ostia probably would overtake Obsession as my number 1 of the year if I played it again. Ostia was really
It
good.
was good.
When it hits retail sometime this year, if and when it hits retail sometime this year, I'll definitely be picking up a copy of Ostia.
Good. Yeah, we can introduce Carlos to that one. Yeah.
I know we may not hit the OGG tonight because
Oh,
it's getting later in the hour.
Already almost 11.
But I was watching Gladiator 2, and one of the cities in the movie was Ostia.
Oh,
and
really?
They kept talking about Ostia, and every time they brought Ostia, I turned to my son and say, "I want that board game. Like, I want that board game." Like,
it was a good one. Yeah.
They keep talking
been
about
to
Ostia.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Have you? Oh, cool.
Yeah, Ostia Antica is what it's called. It's the ancient port city of Rome, and it's kind of like Pompeii.
Yeah.
So I guess at some point there was an earthquake, and the original city of Ostia became landlocked, and so the Romans basically just abandoned it, and they built a new city of Ostia closer to the water. So you can go visit the ancient city of Ostia, and it's
used to
basically
be a
just-
port.
used to be a port, and it's really interesting because it's ancient Roman city. It's laid out like any port city you would imagine. There's like, here are the docks, and here's the walkway, and here's all the row houses where all the workers lived, and here's like the amphitheater and whatever. And like on the street corner was the local bar that the workers would hit up on their way home to their families. And there was like a mosaic on the at the bar, and it had like fish. It had like a fish dish. It had like this, whatever. And they were like, because it's port city, so you'd have people would speaking all kinds of different languages. So they would just use a pictogram, and people would point and pay for their meal and take it and go, or they'd stand up by the bar and like, this is like a corner bar, like McDonald's. Like you guys just ordering off of pictures and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, it was cool visiting.
I may try to go. I know my daughter has decided now that next summer she's going to do 6 weeks over with the summer abroad with the college with University of Florida. She's going to go to Sicily, I think it is. So
nice.
And we're going to plan to go over and try to visit her.
My niece just did a trip to Italy. She's in Florence and
nice
Rome and stuff like that too. Similar with her college. So yeah,
sweet.
I'm gonna stay in America.
Yeah, not going nowhere.
They let me in once.
Yeah, don't let you back in.
I don't know if they'll let me back in. All right, that does our top 20 board. There is one news topic I definitely wanted to hit up tonight because
That's right.
I had asked about it last week. CJ Diller had posted
Chris.
in our call-in discussion show, and I had asked, hey, what are some articles y'all want us to touch on? So this is one I wanted to hit on. He brought up an article by BoardGameQuest.com, written by James Wolfe, and it was published May 16th of this year, 2025. Top 10 shelf hog board games. Get ready, gentlemen.
Okay.
He wrote a list,
saw it.
his top 10 list of shelf hog board games. Now, here's how he made his consideration on that list. He says, I'm only considering things that don't fit in a single Calyx cubby.
Yeah.
So like Everdale, the Complete Collection, and Gloomhaven, as big as they are, don't count because they would fit in a cubby.
They do.
In a single cubby. So what are some games that we have, that Chris was asking us to opine on, that would fit on this list? Games that just would not fit in a cubby. So for me, like the one that stood out was my OG, and it's Memoir 44. So Memoir 44, because of the
amount of stuff.
Yes.
There you go. I got you. So that little memoir box isn't that big, but
no, it's not. But when you buy
15 of them,
when you buy 3 copies of the base game, and then all the expansions to go along with it, plus the equipment packs, so like my Hero Quest would fit in one cubby.
Really?
So my Hero Quest with the expansions, I think I can get all that into one cubby. My Marvel United is all in one cubby. It's all in one cubby, but I currently cannot get my Memoir 44 into one cubby. It is spread around into 2 separate cubbies. For me, my hog is Memoir 44 and all of its expansions.
Well, the new expansion that they just announced for Hero Quest may change that, but we'll see.
Oh, it's going to need another set of cubbies. I already 3 of them.
Oh, did you really? Oh, okay. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And Richard Borg is listed as a designer on that one, too.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I'm going to have to hunt him down and get him to sign that copy.
Nice.
Gentlemen, any thoughts on larger than a Calyx? He describes it as Calyx crushing and Besta bursting board games.
Oh, he brought up Besta, which is my shelving.
That's what you have.
Yeah.
So
What's
what's your
interesting, though, is-
Besta bursting game?
If that's the case, I only have one, I think, because the thing about Besta is you can change the size of the shelving, you can adjust it, so it really just be wide and depth wise. So because you can go that way. So I would just be the only game I have that wouldn't fit inside the Besta case that I have would be the Sentinels of the Multiverse giant black box that just collects
I
dust.
love playing that game.
Yeah.
I loved. Now I wish I could sell it for a fraction of what I paid for it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only one that I have that wouldn't fit inside my Besta shelves.
It's a nice box, but I've got a couple that come to mind. Mechs vs. Minions, which was one of my Grail games that I finally got. That will not fit, I think, depth-wise and width-wise.
Calyx Crusher.
Yeah, it's a Calyx Crusher. So that one is displayed on the top of my Calyx, which I don't mind. You know, that's a game I would want to display. And then the other one is now taking up the whole left part of one of my Calyxes now up on top because it won't fit in. Is the 3 boxes of Oathsworn that I have. So. A game I haven't even played yet, so I got to get that learned and get that to the table before too long. But Oathsworn is definitely 1 box would fit, but there's 3, and I don't even own most of the extra stuff or half the extra stuff you can get for it. So, but it's 3 big boxes, almost 3 Gloomhaven size boxes right now. So yeah, it's crazy.
Tim Tran did a short. He did a short video on his favorite solo games, and he showed Oathsworn on the table, it has presence.
Yes, it does. I can't wait to get it tabled. So yeah, still in the box though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of my other big boxes, like Castles of Burgundy and the Wine Crate and
Oh,
the Wingspan nesting box, I don't have them in the Besta because they just take up too much room.
Sure.
But I could fit them in there, and they would probably fit mostly in a Calyx shelf. So
yeah.
Aaron Clark in the chat says, my brother's got our Heroescape collection, our Heroescape collection. Imagine how many tubs
Joint
that's got to
bill.
be
Yeah.
from when we were in high school. And then he says Marvel Champions is probably getting close to not being able to fit. That was on the list on that article from BoardGameQuest.com.
yeah, you got anything
Marvel
Zombie
Champions.
Side or the what's the Marvel United? If you have
United,
all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I only
I
have
stopped
two boxes
buying-
of that. Yeah.
I stopped buying when it got to one full
Calyx
cubby.
over there. I see it over there. Yeah.
Like, okay, I cannot fit any more in there. I should stop until I play all those.
Yeah. Good rule. Good rule.
That was a great question.
CJ Diller.
Diller.
Yeah. Chris Miller. Yeah.
Chris Miller?
Chris and Janella Miller. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Thank you for the question, folks. If you got articles that you want us to opine on, I know today was a packed show because we had a guest for an hour and we also did our top 20 board, but we're always looking for content to talk about. So make sure you're posting up your articles in the Discord chat. So next week when we come back again, we'll have an opportunity to go through all the articles in the Discord chat, the news, in the news articles, and opine on them for you.
Yeah.
I also have a disclaimer. I need to update my list. I forgot to put Heat up there. He got paid on May 31st.
You didn't forget to put it up there.
Just
Shut
shut your
your
whore
mouth.
mouth.
Didn't
Just
it
shouldn't
belong?
be up
Yeah.
there.
Are you going to take off whatever this is?
Yeah.
That was
My
Harvest.
said it's at 20
Harvest is
is
what that says.
is
Okay.
coming
And
off
he
this
he
list.
can go at 20 then.
Oh, no, brother. Heat.
Really?
Heat with Tunnel Vision expansion came in. So that's on my Twig. We'll talk Twig next week.
With the whole one tunnel.
There's one map with tunnels.
Yeah, I know. I'm the Z's
with-
argument.
I'm with Z on that. Like,
It's like you have one map with tunnel, one map with the water, and then a bunch of other crap thrown in there.
I put tunnels right now. I'm putting tunnels over rain.
Okay.
In the order of what I like.
I don't know about tunnels yet. I gotta look that up.
It's gonna go in at number 9 right now. Heat going in number 9.
Top 10 above Sky Team.
Yes.
All right. So between Hero Quest at 8 and Sky Team,
It was so
at
cool
10
because I
now.
was watching the Spanish Grand Prix, the F1
yeah.
races weekend.
Yeah.
Right, the day before the expansion came in for the Spanish track,
There you go.
the Spain track.
You and your
in Heat.
theme.
So I was able to get. I think I got 3 games played while watching the Grand Prix that morning, and all of them solo. So I will say they were solo plays using the Legends map. But man, having that, I played both sides. I played the Spain map and the Netherlands map. They're completely different maps.
Really?
And then that tunnel vision really changes things up. It adds a mechanism where if you end your turn at the tunnel during the discard step, you cannot discard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh
I
crap.
got to think through that.
I bet you I bet you the game's better solo. I just don't enjoy it at all with a group. Like it just has such a runaway leader issue.
With
Like
that. Get gooder, man. You can be the runaway leader. Get gooder.
I don't know.
So I'll update my board. I'll get a picture of it for y'all up there, and then Rob's got to write in his number 20.
So, once we're done here, I'll take a picture of it. We'll
You can
post it up on
you can clean the
Discord.
harvest thing off better and
Yeah,
just
a little more
spit on that a little bit more.
Good night to Spoonbill Games. Thank you for
Good night,
joining
y'all.
us tonight. Much appreciated.
I wasn't gonna go there.
No, you weren't? No, I did. It's after dark. It's after 11.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that means we didn't get to the Twig. We didn't get to OGG, so we'll save those for next week. We'll have more content for you. We are the Beans and Dice show.
We are.
Thursday nights, we do a live call-in show. Right now, it's about all we're really doing. Hopefully,
Didn't have our call board, but there'd be a big 0 on it this week.
goose egg.
Yeah.
The phone line is still open too. Like nobody called in.
Shutting it down now, but yeah.
Don't forget, if you like what we're doing here, be sure to like and subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell so it notifies you when we go live, so you'll get that notification that we've gone live. If you have questions or comments, you can always email us at beansanddice@gmail.com. If you want to support what we got going on here, you can PayPal us, Venmo us, or Cash App us. We are at Beans and Dice, so it's at Beans and Dice, one word. That's another great episode.
Yeah,
Good
did it
time.
again.
Salud, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Salute.
there you go. Here's the clink.
Wayne.
Yeah.
Any last minute updates for the folks at home before we sign off?
Think I'm good.
Wrong soundboard.
What was that? Good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
We need a new engineer.
Crickets.